Hi, good evening, everybody. Happy Sunday. Nice to see everybody. Sorry, I'm still an avatar. I am still healing on my nose from the surgery that I had, and I can't put any makeup on. I can't put any moisturizers or anything. So I'm super dry at the tip. And so, not to frighten everybody, I have decided that I am just going to stay off camera until I look a little bit better. But I will happily be back on camera. But also, too, sometimes with the panels, it is easier to come in as an avatar. And I thank you, Jamie, for telling people to hit the likes. I certainly do appreciate that. Hi, everybody. I am excited. Hi, Rosebud. Nice to see you. Hey, Dot. I saw that. I saw that you have type 1. Yeah. Yeah, type 1 is difficult. It is difficult. I would always recommend type 1 diabetics if you can work with a registered dietitian. It's very beneficial for you guys. Hey, Jennifer. Nice to see you guys. Hi, Miss Mandy. I'm so glad you caught up with Junebug and I. It was raining a lot here lately, so we've just been running it out the house. Hey, Miss Lucy Jane, how are you? How are you? Miss Pam's here. I hope you got to go ride your horse today. Miss Green Dragon, hi, hi. I'm trying to think. I think we may have one of your questions here, Green Dragon, tonight. We may have one of your questions. So I am opening up the panel tonight. I did reach out to Cheekbones. I don't know if she's popped in or not to see if she wanted to join us, but I know she gets busy. A couple of people, unfortunately, and I'm not going to reveal anybody's things, but unfortunately, there's been some stuff that has meant that the people that I was planning to have on panel have unfortunately not quite been able to get on yet. So we just keep them all in our prayers and well wishes, and so that they can hopefully join us. I did see that somebody had commented, and I need to go back, and I was trying to find it on the video, mentioned they were a nurse practitioner. So if my MP is in the house tonight, I would certainly love to have you on panel. Absolutely. Yeah. Hi, all my little medical fans in here. Hey, how are you tonight, Cats and Frau? Miss Stephanie's here. Hey, Stephanie. It's little Seven's here. We got unicorn farts. Oh, you got your popcorn? Good. Happy Sunday. We're going to keep trying to escape in the month of March, unless you are a fan. And some of you may not even know, if you live abroad, that the month of March is known as March Madness, not to, use the term, but it means that it's very big on college basketball. So there's people who either just get really totally into the college basketball here and get really into that and love watching that. Or there's others who, are looking for some diversion. Oh my goodness. And Foodie is just continuing to eat rice. So we're going to take a look at this live that she did. I'm probably going to speed her up. She does talk about her health in this live. So we are going to be curious. Hey, I think I said, hey, Sweet and Low. Let me get you up here too. Hey. Your intro is too long. I'm sorry, Sweet and Low. I was trying to get something ready on Nightbot tonight, and I got a little delayed. So that's my bad. I apologize. I'm gonna try to get a little bit shortened. So I'll try to take care of that. I got a little bit sidetracked on Nightbot this evening, so I do apologize for that. I was trying to see if I could do a command about dropping a link in, and it wasn't working for me, so I apologize. Thank you for the heads up. Hey, turn the page. Yeah, listen. Oh, you're at the gym. Okay. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad. You work out, girl. I had a nice long walk with Junebug. Hello, life. Hi. Hi. Your mom dodged a bullet this morning? Oh, goodness. Diabetic ulcer. Oh, my goodness. You're happy to catch a live? I am glad you were here to do that. Well, you know what? Let's just get started. Let's just get Foodie up here. So my plan is we're going to watch Foodie. I wanted to bring her up first so we could just kind of see how she's looking. She's going makeup free at the moment, very popular. Pamela Anderson, as we know, has been promoting a makeup-free look. Not that most of us ladies don't go makeup-free often. I certainly know I'm makeup-free today. But let's bring up Foodie. Let me get started. Let me get too long on this intro. Okay, here we go. Come on in there. Here she is. Oh my goodness, there's Foodie. Sometimes I like to look at her questions, but somebody says here, let's bring her up. Do I have her up here? Let me bring me small. Oh, she's got 7 comments so far. So I guess she's well, thank you, sweet and love. That's okay. I'm just a nurse, so I tend to be I like to make, I'm learning. I'm a new live streamer. I'm trying to add more fun things and trying to figure out polls or other interesting things. And I certainly know that I certainly like to come on live more than an avatar, but I'm being a vain woman at the moment. That's okay. I love to learn. Makeup without free with filters. Yes, absolutely. It's Kardashian style. it's Hollywood style. How they always do the makeup free look or the bare makeup, and you're like, oh my God, she's got foundation, blusher, eyeshadow, mascara, her eyebrows are done, the lips are done, the whole, everything's done. You're like, that's not bare. That would be me for a night out, man. Bare is literally what I'm doing, where I cannot even put anything on my nose at the moment. Hey, Catherine. Oh, you love the yes, yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I like to try to change up my avatar, so at least I'm vaguely interesting over here. No, thanks, Foodie. I do not want to become a member. Go. No, thank you. Oh my goodness. We do not want to become a member of Miss Everyday Miriam's post. So just before we get started, so this went out 6 hours ago. She's had less than 5,000 views. And so for a channel that has currently 101,000 subscribers, that's not a great amount of views considering it's a live. Now, if it was a fashion haul like Miss Glitters did, like we had so much fun with the other night, then I can imagine that she would have a lot, less views. And then over the days, the views would become more and more. But this is a live, and lives have, often very short lifespans as far as how long people are going to be interested in watching somebody's live. So yeah, so she's only had 7 comments, which is pretty low actually, for how many hours. So I'm thinking she's moderating, because otherwise it would have far more comments here. And somebody said just not for her not to give up on her body. And then she's having, just, all about missing your lives, what's in the bag, handsomest man. It's nothing there. Okay, so we're actually going to just bring her up a little bit bigger. Okay. And now she still has makeup on. She still has, it looks like she hasn't been potentially fully able to remove the black eyeliner here under the eyes, or in the eye, I should say. I don't like putting my eye makeup there. We used to do that a lot in the 80s, put the eye stuff right here. Ooh, especially with how old her makeup is. I wouldn't recommend putting that eyeliner so close to my eye. Oh, I think it would just highlight the sort of yellowness of the eyes that she's. I just don't think she looks, for a young lady who is 40 years old, I just don't think she looks very good. And we've got all sorts of questions that we're going to take a look at tonight. And it's actually the questions are going to come in 2 parts. And if you are a healthcare provider and you would like to come up and come on as an avatar, you don't have to give your full name if you don't want. Let me know, and I will open the panel, because it is open panel tonight. And I know the community is far more interested in hearing from anybody who's other healthcare professionals. Hey, than just hearing from me. So yeah, she looks someone your age, mid-50s or older. I would say it's hard to say, isn't it? Because she's, when you do have some fullness to the face, it obviously can help fill wrinkles, and your face can then look quite youthful. You don't have as many wrinkles. So sometimes having a fuller face is beneficial. But I think she just doesn't look well, and that's aging her more. And I think even with her skin, I think her skin quality, she's trying. We'll listen to her. Let's just listen to her. We'll just listen to her. Let's let her go so that we can actually sort of pay attention. Let me just speed her up a tiny bit here at 1.25. And if she's just too slow, we'll speed her up a little bit more.
You are first.
Try to speed up, increase the sound here.
So dry in the winter.
Very quiet.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Oh my gosh, you guys. Hey, Vivian. Hey, Ghostface. Hello. Look at this is my dinner. Hey, Rachel.
I'm going to have to take notes as she goes. I'm going to try not to interrupt her because I get very rude.
This is Sans filter. 100%. Good evening, Eritrans. This is more Arabic food. Brenda, hello. Freaking hungry. Natalia, hello. Tea and moonshine, hi. Chicken mashed booth. Yeah, let's open this up. I love how fancy some restaurants are with their packaging. Hi, Jenny, Melissa. Wen's, hello. Rachel. Hi, Merry World.
Believe it or not, that's her sped up. So I think we're actually going to go a little bit faster. Sometimes I can't go too fast with Foodie because her accent could be still potentially difficult for me to understand. I cannot believe that is an entire box of food, though. If I had a box that size showing up at my house for food, it'd be a week's worth of meals. That's wild. It's wild. It's wild. That's a box of food. It's a box of food.
Oh my gosh. Hi. Long time no see, but still a loyalty visa. Thank you so much. Ready, set, reviews. Thank you. Okay, what's in here? Oh, bread. What the heck? Fresh bread. Okay. What do you want, baby? Yeah, them shook ups. Look at her. You look sad like you want chicken, but I just gave you tuna fish and chicken dinner from your wet food. Right? Yes, I did. I just gave you some.
Freedom for Julia. And we understand why that cat begging at the table. Doesn't take rocket science to work out why that cat's begging at the table. Huh. And she has bread. What a shocker. Just I was trying to take a look at some of my recommendations, and in just a minute we'll bring up the first question from the community. One of the things I was looking at was what would be a recommended portion size for a diabetic for rice, because obviously Chantel loves her rice, as we know. And what I was seeing recommended for patients with, and this would work for whether you were type 2 diabetes mellitus, and somebody very clearly said, don't forget to say it's type 2 she has. Obviously, type 2 diabetes mellitus is one that will come onset. It used to be later in life, though it's now starting often now in more children and teenagers than before. And then we have type 1 diabetes, where we have individuals who are not born producing insulin sufficiently or any out of their pancreas. So that is like they have no insulin, they're born without that function in their pancreas. And so that's very different from type 2s. Then there's obviously gestational diabetes as well. And there's another type. But the amount of rice that they recommend that somebody should really have in the day is about a third of a cup. And one of the things I also found funny was that you can have in your meal, and just take a look at what Chantel's having, one choice of a starch in a meal. And hey, Rose. Hi. Come on in, Rose. Oh, yeah. This is insane. Because they say, this is so funny, because the paperwork that or not paperwork, but the reference that I'm referring to was something that I would give to patients in regards to managing diet and portion who are either type 1 or type 2 diabetics in the cardiac rehab I worked at, and really trying to teach them the types of, that a diabetic diet is not about a certain type of food, but more about portions and the types of foods that you choose to eat, and the portions you eat them in. You eat just twice a year, the rice? Yeah, because a lot of people know it's very high in the glycemic index, the old rice. Rice Krispies are nobody's friends. But it says here that for a starch or a grain, and this is the size of a computer mouse. Okay, so if you think of the little old-fashioned computer mouses that we have with the PCs and everything at our worktop or desktop small, that is about the portion size. Okay, so when we see Chantel about to eat this meal, think that in reality, she's almost putting her portion size in her mouth because she uses a huge spoon. So it's not very many spoons of that, and she's reached portion. The other important part was it says you can have a third of a cup of pasta. Doesn't specify whether it's white or brown, just a third of a cup. Okay, this is at a meal, like say dinner. You can have a third of a cup of rice. You can have half a cup of boiled potato, okay, not fried, boiled. Not mashed, not in a pot pie, just boiled. Bread, 1 slice, 1 ounce. Okay, 1 slice, 1 ounce. Corn, half a cup. You get to have one of those choices to equal 15 carbs. So one of those alone is the equivalent of 15 carbs. And I know that when I was carb counting for meals, we may only want to go to 45 or 50 carbs in a patient's meal when we carb counted. So, and then we may have to, so that's how that's kind of the portions. And that doesn't mean would a spike in blood pressure cause drowsiness and sluggishness? Yes, it can. If you get too high, it can make you very lethargic and very unresponsive. If it gets too high, absolutely. I mean, primarily you see it a lot more with people who are experiencing low blood sugars, but if it gets too high, then they can have level of consciousness changes and they can become very lethargic. Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. That's kind of sleepy. Yeah, absolutely. And she was sluggish asleep before the meal. Right. And she's also not, one of the difficult things is too, with kind of keeping the calendar that she's keeping, if she's preparing for her Ramadan, because I don't think it's quite started yet. I feel like it's a couple of days out and she's kind of working and preparing for it. That it can actually, over time, being up at night and sleeping in the day can also raise your blood sugars and have an effect on blood sugars, which is why it can become difficult for people who actually work night shifts, is that they can, so not only, and then she's not exercising, obviously. So she's just no way to burn any of this food that she's eating. It's just, at least when she was in Canada, she was running around, she was out in the car. I mean, at least she was moving. She is very sedentary in that apartment. It's just not good. Really not good. But yeah, that's a good question. Thank you, Rose. Yeah. No, that third of a cup of rice would be what would be included in the meal as the starch at 15 grams of carb. So if you knew how many grams of carb that you were trying to have throughout the day, what they would recommend that if you were having a meal, that you would have one non-starchy vegetable of choice would equal 5 grams of carbs, and you could have 1 cup of raw vegetables or half a cup of cooked vegetables. Those are your non-starchy vegetables. And then each carb choice contains 15 grams of carb. And so it depends on how many carbs you need in each of your meal choices. So those would just be an example of a starch choice. Problem with Chantel is she chooses all the starches in one meal. Because I think the last meal we saw, except for the corn and pasta, she certainly had rice, potato, and bread. I was trying to do, it's just awful at this moment in time. Just terrible, 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 terrible. And then the other thing they would say, so is for the meat, because there's no carbs in the meats or proteins, but what they recommend, okay, is like 3 ounces of chicken, 3 ounces of fish, or 3 ounces of beef, which is about the size of a deck of cards. And you can have a little piece of fruit, and a small orange, blueberries at 3/4 of a cup, or a slice of watermelon. They all equate, and that's about the size of a tennis ball. That equates to your fruit choice. And then the milk, which is the choice for a dairy, is about 12 grams of carb. So you can have a cup of milk or a cup of yogurt, which I think she eats way more than a cup of yogurt. Maybe she does eat about a cup of yogurt, but then she eats a bunch of hummus with it too. And that's what they would recommend would make for a very balanced meal. And you could look at that and think to that and even base it around a breakfast, a lunch, and a dinner. It looks like this is a dinner serving, though. I think that's one of your actual meal servings. And obviously, it's non-starchy vegetables. So you're not doing a lot of starch. And what they showed here was like a little piece of salmon, a third of a cup of rice. Just a little piece of salmon. I don't know how she probably said it, but she had blood pressure. I don't think she's telling the truth, Pam. That's my honest opinion. My dad was extremely thirsty. Right. Yes, 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 because there's 3 classic signs to diabetes, especially hyperglycemia. It's polyphagia, which means you want to eat enormous amounts of food, which we do see Chantel do. The next is polyuria, which is getting up and urinating quite frequently, which Chantel, I think, used to seemingly get up much more frequently during her lives. And lately, it has not been that way, but that could be for a number of reasons. And then what they call polydipsia, which is feeling really, really thirsty, really thirsty. Yeah. All right, let's bring up real fast the first question. I hope I'm still getting good. And if we have any healthcare providers who want to join me, let me know. Okay. So, sorry. Let me stop this. I forgot I made this into a little video. Let me go back to the first. I think is that my first question? Yes, it is. It's from Green Dragon, who happens to be in the chat. So, Green Dragon, you sent us a question, and I wanted to make sure I got here. And unfortunately, Green Dragon, my diabetes, like I said, a lot of people, they've had some things come up. So, anyway, she asked, I am curious to know if diabetes affects your eyes and your eye pressure or anything to do with your eyes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Whether you have type 1 or type 2 diabetes, mellitus. I'm not sure for gestational. There's another diabetes too that I'm not remembering, unfortunately. But the difficulty is the primary is often one I speak about, which you'll hear, which is called diabetic retinopathy. And this is where there is actual microvascularization that begins to develop, and it actually starts to attach itself more and more to the retina of your eye. And as this actually begins to happen, and these little tiny vessels begin to attach more and more to the retina of your eye due to the diabetic disease, and you're not managing the blood sugars, it will pull that retina and pull and pull and pull on that retina until actually at the very end, it will lead to blindness and you will not be able to return your sight, which is why they urge diabetics to have frequent visits to ophthalmologists, and for diabetics also to control their blood sugars, because the eyes are one of the organs that is most affected. And diabetes mellitus type 2 is also a leading cause to blindness globally. So it's really bad. And I saw Pam ask, no, Pam, glaucoma is not caused by diabetes. Glaucoma has nothing to do with diabetes. Not that I understand. If anybody knows better, but I don't believe there is a connection. I think glaucoma has almost more like a hereditary component to it, because I actually could have family history of glaucoma. So I think it's more a familial and anything with type of disorder with a hereditary component more than coming from a lifestyle. Obviously, having, using sunglasses, and it does have something to do with pressures in the eyes, and obviously getting your eyes regularly checked, getting, as you start to reach into especially into the 40s. I would say by the time you're 40s, I would be definitely, if you're not somebody who required glasses, once you hit 40, especially with all of us using computers and doing things more frequently, get out there and get your eyes checked just to make sure that you're nothing that needs to be addressed, and you're just being monitored, because the sooner they can spot something, there are, I understand, treatments that are much different than how our family members in the past had their eye issues treated. So it's always good to just get it taken care of quick. It sounds kind of more. Let me get Miss Chantel on, because my thing is stopping me from seeing everybody. Hold on. Let me get Chantel back on here. So I can see a little better here. Life. I know it sounds more, but if I didn't know any better, that Foodie wants a medical, right? And yes, I'm just kind of like in awe that she's totally aware. She's not unaware. She's not a full-blown, I don't want to use bad language, but she's not a fool in respect that she's not unaware of what the consequences of her not correcting her diet and lifestyle or adding more exercise are going to do for her, because she's had to address health issues before. So I almost do wonder if she wants to become, but you've always, maybe she wants a reason to be sent back to Canada. Maybe she's looking for the out, that they have to ship her back. I don't know, because you've mentioned that they're not going to keep her there. So unless she's deluded in thinking that it will keep Salau there, she'll be, having him wait on her hand and foot in the apartment, and she doesn't have to do anything but lie in a bed, which is just terrible, because you've got to have people turn you and stuff. I mean, it's bad. I just don't think she realizes. I really just think she don't realize. Yeah, I wonder. I do wonder. I'm sorry, I haven't been. Do you do any of the non-bios? But I would hope that if you are reaching a certain age, especially ladies who are getting a little bit older, and if you're working nights or anything, I would like to have my doctors get my hemoglobin A1C. And I know for certain wellness plans at work, if they offer that and to do the free lab work, get it done. At least then you'll have an idea. So many of my colleagues just avoided that. And I think it's also a denial. And you are so much better off taking a look and finding out what your hemoglobin A1C is as early as possible. That's going to tell you so much more than one of those like blood sugar checks, like on the finger. Those are really more for people who are managing diabetes. For anybody who's not had a diagnosis of any type of diabetes, but there are so many people in the United States who are pre-diabetic and who could start to change diet and exercise, just start walking more, take the stairs at work, do simple things that would lower your risk of then getting diabetes and a lifelong of expensive medications, chronic diseases, increased risk for stroke, heart attack. I mean, yes. And I wonder where the glasses went. Macular degeneration. Macular degeneration is also familial. I think it's like another one of those, like glaucoma and macular degeneration. If you had family members who had that, like a grandparent, you are potentially at a higher risk of having those disorders. So it's always good then to know, especially, I always say once you reach 40, most of us are starting to have optical changes by 40. And if you can start to get optical care, do so. And even like, you'd be surprised looking at things like your AAA membership sometimes gives you discounts at optical places. So if you don't have health insurance, so look at your AAA, because they often have discounts at certain opticians, and maybe it gives you a little discount if you don't have optical. So just, double check. What's this? Right. You should always get a check, even if you don't. That's why I say at 40, all of us should be getting our eyes looked at. I found out, I have to be really careful because I'm already starting to get cataracts because I've lived in some high altitude places, and I've also live here at the beach. So you never see me without sunglasses. I mean, I live in those things. I live in sunglasses. You saw you had gestational diabetes, Raven? Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's not uncommon. I mean, we women really get hit, and menopause can also change some of those factors and kind of put us a little bit higher in our blood sugars too. And so it always like makes me feel like it's wild when it's probably a time when we really should be watching and managing, especially if we want to age healthfully and without having too many issues, because we're going to probably get issues anyway. My thing is I don't want to spend a lot of money on healthcare. I certainly, having worked in healthcare, and having seen people really, really sick and how hard it is on them, I don't want anything like that. I don't think Foodie glamorizing this stuff. Her sugar's up. Right. Well, she said her sugar was 10.5 the other day. I kind of breezed past that because I'm just like, because I don't believe her half the time on her sugars. So that's very, very high. That's very high. 10.5, I think gosh, I'm going to say that's up in the 160s, 170s, 180s on the milligrams to a DL in the blood sugar, which is awful. You should, I mean, that's a really high. And we don't know if that's legitimate. We don't know. Hey, RGB, how are you? Yeah, wow. And there's a lot of creators, unfortunately. Hey, Cheekbones. Hey, if you want to come and join the panel, let me know on the next question. Let me know. I'll drop you a link in the chat. And you can come on in. Just let me know. Just let me know. Last week, I tell you, with a boring life, trying to make herself see. Oh, yes. Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, that does seem to be an unforgiving part of an audience that says, you started with this type of content, and if you're already somebody who's super fit, with a big fitness platform, then you'll get a big fitness platform on YouTube. But if you're suddenly somebody like Chantel, who suddenly has no medical expertise, isn't a fitness person, trying to put out a fitness or a weight loss or anything, it's not going to go over well with the audience, because that's not what they're looking for. They're looking for comfort in numbers in their habits, is kind of what I'm thinking, because there's so much you do it, girl, and and what, like you said, Rose, and you were so on point with this the other day, that in reality, the people that hate her the most, and hate's a very strong word, but dislike her the most in some ways, are people who encourage her to have extremely bad habits. That's the ones that are the worst, Yeah, those are the ones that are the worst. So yeah, Cheekbones, like I said, if you want to join the chat, I'll put the link in here. I think I have the link. There we go. That's if you want to grab that link, Cheekbones, if you want to join me, let me know. Let's get back to Chantel, and then we'll look at my next question. We got lots of questions tonight.
Okay, who did I miss?
Which I love. I love this.
Little boy, but hello. Lauren, oh my gosh, I remember you with the crazy pig lady. Do you still have your pig? I hope so. Hi, Lynn. A white hijab, Ghostface. Hi, Tangerine. Thank you. I hope so that you are too. Hi, Scrape. Gonna be coming from your mama live? Why? Monica, Marbles. He's at his 5th apartment. Tommy, we saw. The Alfredo, Brooke, thank you. Yeah, it was really yummy, actually. But I didn't eat anything. I didn't eat any more of it because it kind of upset my tummy. Very rich in cream and butter. Hi, welcome salam, Habibti. Thank you. Look, it's Foodie Beauty. Oh, gob. What? What the hell? Hello, Olga, Bali, everybody. Look at this whole container it comes in. Okay, let's. This is the match booth, so let's first eat the appetizers. This is like my first meal. I slept a lot today. Oh my gosh. I don't know what's wrong with me. I think I'm having a bad mental health few days because these are pickles. Mukhalid is how you say pickles in Arabic. I'm learning, guys. I might take an Arabic class. This is some kind of creamy red sauce. Yummy. Okay. Look at all the sauces. Pita chips for the soup and a lemon wedge for the soup. Oh, I think that's for the kibba. I'll ride with you until the wheels fall off. Thank you, Norma Jean. Julia, do you want this box? Watch, she's gonna. I bet you. Come.
The entire box. The entire box.
March 11th? Oh, really? For sure? Depends on the moon, eh? I'm in anger management. I need that. I do, Mary World? Mukhalil. I try, but some words, like I still say hijab, and Salah's like it's hijab. Okay, this is my favorite. Mixed kibba. I'm gonna try with the sauce. No, he had some fish earlier. Hi, Carrie. I'm doing okay. How are you? Okay, guys, get ready. Gotta wear my sleeves. Okay, this one is potato and dill. Yum.
Is that fried?
Oh my god. Amanda, I like.
Well, I can let you know, but I know she's giddy. Absolutely giddy. Hey, Inferno. Yeah. There's plenty of room. Yeah. What isn't her favorite? That's a good question, Peaches. I have no idea. I have no idea. Everything this woman's favorite. As long as it's fried, I'm surprised it's, carbs, size of carb. Yeah. Potatoes and rice again. It's just, she doesn't look good. Look at that. Look at the swelling underneath the eyes here. You can see, now partly that could be because she's sleeping in the day and being awake at night, and that type of schedule is really bad. And so I'll just bring up my next question to the stage. Well, actually, let's finish her eating this crazy, or starting this crazy meal, and then we're going to take a look at the next question.
Welcome salam. So Ramadan is coming. I'm trying to think of Ramadan recipes. From what I traditionally see, people meal prep. So like, they make like sambosa. Hi, Hizzy Fits. Please recycle island. Okay. Miss Southern Belle. Thank you, Miss Southern Belle. That means a lot. Thank you so much for the super chat. Super sticker. Melissa, front porch sitting today in Southern Illinois. Hello. Enjoy. Last night I dreamt of San Pedro. This one is, I don't know what kind of kebab it is. Plain. No, happy dog, I don't. I don't have any cord. 2 Ramadans in 2030. Thanks, Miss Southern Belle. Applebee's. Welcome to Ready, Set, Bees. Yeah, some of your gifted memberships have dropped off, I guess, eh? Thanks for redoing Applebee's.
Somebody asked me about whether or not I thought she had a slip disc. Sorry, just moving my chair. And after watching her just like, I don't know, the way she was just like dancing with those arms up in the air to some destroyed Madonna song. Yes, that was Madonna's. I think I can't Spanish lullaby. I think the song is called, if I'm correct. But anyway, the way old Chantel had her arms just going there doesn't look like she's got a slip disc, because I would assume that would be very painful. And she's not received any physical therapy. So anything that would have helped with managing a slip disc or managing sciatica that could be caused due to a slip disc would require physical therapy. Chantel's not getting any physical therapy. And the way she just put those arms up in the air, I don't think she slipped a disc either. I don't know. All right. Let's take a look at the next question we had from the audience. Or from the community, I should say. All right, let me take you down, Pam. Well, I thank you all for being here. Okay, like I said, cheekbones, if you want to pop in, more than welcome. I think she's having more fun in the chat. She slipped on her pain pills. She slipped pain pills. She wishes she could get pain pills in Kuwait. I think it's why we probably don't hear her going to the clinics anymore. She gave up on that. They don't hand them out like candy anymore. I don't think she was getting them handed out like that. She'd need imaging. Yeah, she'd need imaging. Absolutely. She would have needed imaging. And she's not had any of that. And the way she ran from those camels, makes me think that that's not what the problem was, because it doesn't matter. You would still, well, cheekbones. Oh, okay. Oh, well, thank you for the super chat. In bed already, but I'm up for the panel any other time. Well, you know what, girl? You enjoyed bed. Well, I didn't want to clash with 60 Minutes tonight. You know how it is. But I'm going to be bringing up questions. In fact, I'm going to bring a question up right now. And so if you want to weigh in on the question, feel free to pop it in the chat. All right, let's bring it up. Let's bring up the next question from our community. Feel better. Yeah. Hey, Paige. All right. Okay, so that was the question. All right, let me stop. Oops, that was not what I wanted to do. Sorry. Oops. I keep forgetting to stop. Oh, there we go. All right, let me get back a little bit. No. All right, this is the next one. Okay. This question came in from Daft Clinker. And they asked, and I'm sorry it took me so long, but we're getting to them. I did want to get to them, and I still have a host more. So we'll still get to more of these community questions, and we'll put out more stuff. Maybe we'll ask questions about sciatica next. Chantel keeps saying she plans. Oh, this is a good one. I'd be interested to hear this. Plans on fasting during Ramadan. My understanding is diabetes is a medical condition which qualifies a medical exemption, for lack of better word, from fasting during this month. Why are diabetics recommended not to fast? Now, if we do have any type 1 or type 2 diabetics, obviously, drop it in the chat. Let others know why they have been recommended not to fast. But primarily, the reason would be is that people who are trying to manage something such as type 2 diabetes, you don't want their blood sugars having enormous up and down spikes and making it very difficult to control and manage. You want their diets to be very consistent, and it's more beneficial for meals consistently, small meals, as they say, throughout the day, to kind of keep a blood sugar very even level, so as not to overwork the pancreas and try to spike insulin up and down, trying to manage and control food and huge quantities of food throughout the day. And so since often what would happen with Ramadan is people eat at night, which often too, it's that circadian rhythm, and often how our hormones work as a body, it can change how that food is processed at nighttime. And so there are studies more that are showing the effects of that through people who have night shifts, especially people like myself, like RNs. And so her still wanting to go ahead and do this, I think she thinks she's getting some type of bang for her buck. Like she's actually getting her blood sugars better managed because she's getting forced to fast. But in reality, especially the way she's so unmanaged and so very unhealthy, I think at this point, she's probably going to do more harm to herself than good. I'm correct? Well, thank you, Miss Cheekbones. I feel like I'm a class. You know what? I feel like I just got an A in class. Thank you. Thank you for my registered dietitian and previous diabetes educator. Thank you. All right. Well, a great question there. Thank you for leaving those questions. All right. She's sleeping. She's sleeping. She's sleeping for that part. Yeah, and it's not good. It's not good for her. She's actually going to do herself harm, Inferno. She's going to do herself harm. All right. And I forgot to say, if you have not been over to Rosethorn's channel or Inferno's channel, please go check them out. Go watch. They have all great, aspects of how everybody is awesome in the community, because everybody comes at everything in a very angle. And because of that, it adds more layers to how sort of complex really Chantel is as a character we get joy in watching. Otherwise, she's really not joyful. Hold on. Hold on. Let me make sure. Did I put her up on the screen? No. Hold on. Hold on. I forgot to put on Chantel. Oh, goodness. Hold on. Let me share the screen. This is like high tech over here. Actually, you know what? I should put my I should put this video over here in my Bram probably and try to add it on. Oh well, I'm learning. Anyway, let's get back to Chantel. Wow. This is I don't understand why she decided to go makeup free. This was not the day. This was not the day for her to go makeup free. I mean, she's still got the black stuff in the eye. And as we know, we don't know if that's because Chantel here just didn't clean her face properly. I find micellar water is awesome. So Chantel, if you're watching, get a little bit of micellar water. It works wonders with a little cotton pad. You'll get that eye makeup off like no problem, girl. It's cheap too. It's not expensive.
Okay, let's try this one, and then I'm going to save the other three. Hospitalization. Papa John's?
Yeah, she needs inpatient care stat.
Do you guys remember when I went to Papa John's in Canada?
Oh,
and
God.
some people called the cops on me because I thought it was burnt out of my mind. And the cop came and he shined the flashlight in my face and my eyes. He was like, you don't look burnt. I was like, yeah. I wasn't. Lentil soup. My longest sub was my HelloFresh.
Oh, well, that's a charming story. For an individual who said she's trying to change her image, why are you telling a story about one, obviously involving food, two, cops called, three, burnt, four, she wasn't burnt? And we don't know if she's telling the truth or not on that one. Oh my goodness, girl. All right, keep going.
Why such a huge box?
Jeez.
I don't know.
Wow.
So Layel, we are having match boost, kibba, and lentil soup right now.
Yes.
They
Lockdown.
called the cops, yeah. Because they thought it was driving burnt.
This is wild. Okay.
And, I just
Did
noticed
she
there's no cutlery with this.
Okay.
And so anyway,
Where's she
I
going?
wasn't, and the cops flashed the flashlight in my face, and oh. Last night I dreamt of San Pedro. Anyways, so
I'm highlighting your comment, Sour Cat, just in case
Anyways.
Chantel reading.
he's called the cop. Peanut stew, no name, yeah.
Yes,
It's called mafe. It's a West African dish.
very cleansing, the
these
story.
I'm
Very
just gonna show you guys.
cleansing.
Yeah, I gotta make my own pita chips. So yeah,
Very
so for Ramadan
fire.
prep, I was thinking of making like
No, it's not
some
the right
sambusa.
person. Girl, what you eating?
What else?
Did she eat all those things? The other
Vine
thing?
leaves, big batch,
keep up.
lentil soup.
Oh God. Okay.
Now it's stuck in my head too,
Lord.
Christy.
Lentils. She just ate whatever the fried whatever that she just ate. So now she's on to the lentils. And that's a substantial the lentil soup then. Can she not pick one or the other? I know there's worse to come. This is why I get persistently horrified by Chantel. Because I know there's worse to come from her. Oh my gosh. Okay. Let's have a look at the next question my audience out there asked, because this is, hey, Team Psychord, I believe all Chantels sleep and eat. Pretty much. Like Liatica. Absolutely. Hey, girls. Hey, come on in, Captain Brian. We're talking about Chantel's diabetes over here with some medical professionals. Cheekbones is in the chat. But we're still kind of open paneling a little bit with a healthcare professional. hopefully I'll just keep advertising open panel. I know I had a nurse practitioner in here, and I need to find that again. I'm going to reach out to this person, because if I can get myself, and I know Bella Italia would be here, but she's on call tonight. So yeah, you're not a medical professional. Well, darn. Well, I can't bring you up to talk about these complex diabetes questions then, because we gotta be like full of the evidence practice over here. But you can talk madness in the chat with my audience, because we love that. With the funnier, the better. That's actually a rule in my chat, is that you better be funny in the chat. So tired for many different reasons. I mean, not even lack of. She's gonna be, it's just wild. It's just, as a healthcare professional, you just are sort of shaking your head, because when you listen to Sansa Cook did another great macro breakdown of the meal that we looked at with Amber Lynn, and the meal that we also looked at with Foodie Beauty, which was one of her, I think it was the chicken and the rice meal, another chicken and rice meal, which I think is coming around the circle again. And obviously, Amber's meal was so much healthier than Foodie's, but Foodie's was off the chain again. I mean, the calories, she's, the little calories that she says she's consuming, she's just full of it. She's full of it. Who claims severe clinical. Thank you, Maggie. Absolutely. I would like to say that's very, very true in what I've seen with patients in that respect too. Because I've had to work with times in an inpatient where they have the specific inpatient for patients with mental health at a hospital, and there was a very large inpatient, always separate from the other areas. And the patients with depression, yeah, very poor appetites. Versus she's giddy. She's got a whole different other thing going on. She's all over the place, man. Right. She's got every comorbidity going on. All right, let's bring up our next question. Let me see what my next question is. All right, let me stop it. All right. So, all right, take the cheekbones down. Maybe you can help out with this. Okay, this is a longer one, but we'll see what she says. Okay. I'd love to hear where she is getting her information on what ways she can help herself. Whenever I have any health issues, I always ask my doctor, what can I do on my own to ease my symptoms and side effects, including the unwanted side effects from some meds? Which somebody pointed out that whether or not her skin rashes were from medications she's taking. And I don't even know who's prescribing her medications. She's been so far out from that initial diabetes doctor. I want to say it's been, I mean, usually the prescriptions are 90 days here in the US, at least, and then the prescription may last a year. But that's if you have a primary provider. And this would have just been some guy at a clinic. So I don't know where she's getting any long-term diabetes prescriptions. That's my first question with her. Where are you getting the prescriptions? Unless you're buying it on a black market somewhere, girl, where are you getting your prescriptions from? Anyway, let's get back to Kendra's question. I am always surprised to learn something minor I might be doing could exacerbate my diagnoses or prevent the medication from working. Also, does she know how to be her own advocate? Ask questions, get support from sources outside the doctor's office. I'm going to bring up Ken's cheekbones answer here. Chantel does not listen to anyone. Chantel, that doesn't tell her what she wants to hear. Thank you. And I'm thinking that our friend Maggie here is going to agree, because Chantel has certainly exhibited some stuff. Would a sister would his sister take any professional risk? No, I don't think so, Lee. I don't think that because what I understood in somebody else's chat the other day is that Salau may not necessarily have the closest relationship with his family. So for a family member of his to actually want to take the time to risk his or her position or a licensure, I would doubt that very much. I mean, there are people that do, don't get me wrong. Okay. Because there are medical professionals that do some wild stuff out there with prescriptions and things. But for the most, I would think that you wouldn't want to risk it. So I don't know. I wouldn't. And to answer your question, Kendra, I would say that Chantel is non-compliant. I don't think that I think that she has certain just speculation on my part, and I always say about this with her having sort of potentially cluster B personality types, and I don't know if Maggie would agree with that or any of my therapy people out there, that probably with her having sort of. And I also wonder about borderline too, just because she goes from manic to down, but then she still eats all the time. So I just wonder. And obviously it's speculation. It's much more difficult. Like as far as she's put out health things, and then I can sort of look at stuff and talk about risk factors as a medical professional. With it psychiatrically, we always have to be very cautious with mental health diagnoses. These are things that we can speculate upon based on some behaviors we may see from her, but we really cannot get a full diagnosis because you actually need to physically have the patient in front of you for assessment. Whereas her talking about a diabetes and so forth, and then me seeing what she's consuming gives me a good idea of how she's managing her diabetes at this time. And I see she's doing no physical activity too. So I would say that Kendra has some really good advice about making sure that you're always advocating for yourself. If you've noticed one sort of different side or interesting new side effect coming up from medication, let your doctors know. I would think that Chantel is just unable to comply at this point. That's my, assertion. And I don't think she realizes that the diabetes medications that she takes are meant to be added to a diet and exercise program. And the diet doesn't mean eat 6,000 calories in one sitting. That's not the diet. Or eat all 5, starch groups in one sitting. So Chantel is wild. All right, let's bring Chantel back up to the stage.
Now, I'm going to be doing a no makeup challenge because honestly, it's such a pain. Hi, Natalie. It's so good. It's such a pain to take off your makeup. Like, okay, you can't wear makeup when you're praying, right? I think maybe like the only thing I'm going to wear is lip balm and some kohl. Like what I'm wearing right now on my eyes. Scrape Goat's obsessed with pizza. Do I prefer Middle Eastern food over Western food? Yeah, because you know what? What is like Western cuisine? You know what I mean? Like what is, okay, like for example, what's Canadian cuisine? Poutine, Sorry. It all comes from
Canadians. Drop in the chat what your favorite Canadian cuisine is. Or even if you aren't Canadian and you just are familiar with Canadian cuisine, drop it in the chat.
Because Canada's like multicultural and it's kind of like a melting pot and it's a newer country, right? So it's influenced by other, there's a lot of French food. I don't know. I do like poutine. Condescending owls, like who?
Oh.
Is he bi? He doesn't claim to be. He says he's straight.
Who's she talking
American
about?
cuisine is mostly like
Is
burgers,
she
fries. That's American for
shaming?
sure.
I have no idea who she's talking to. Chantel, please try not to burn down my channel with your homophobic chat.
There's some southern food that looks really good.
Of course, she's talking about food because she has and she's not even a good food critic. She knows nothing about food other than the consumption of fast food and takeaway.
Mixture of everyone else's cuisine. Hi, Elaine.
As we always say, her cookbook would be a takeout menu collection.
Siggy. Whoops.
Maple syrup?
Burger fries mukbang. I should make burger and fries someday. They have a lot of burger places here, but American food is really expensive here. Oh, I see. Church spaghetti with extra parm. Thanks, Elaine. Hi, Colleen. Lentil soup, yeah. Cornbread. Egyptian food, really?
Oh, gosh.
What's your favorite ghost face?
Well, Rose, I wish Chantel would be that motivated to exercise. And I know that Inferno was in the chat a moment ago, and he was there the night we talked about whether or not she's got, full leave of the apartment. I mean, she's got to be, you cannot sit there like this for this amount of time. And just the little bit of housework that she does is not going to be considered exercise to take care of her heart. She's on a bad path. I'm here for the train wreck. That's what I always say. I'm here for the train wreck and to educate people about diabetes type 2, diabetes type 1, treatment management and so forth, and answer some nice questions from the community. Ooh, she's frustrating though. Very non-compliant.
Or someone outside is yelling.
Oh, wow. Captain Brian, that sounds very indulgent. That sounds indulgent.
I decided that I'm going to wait for the clothing haul for Eid because that's when people usually dress up and fancy and stuff. Like for Ramadan, I'm probably going to just wear a jilbab all the time or like a baya.
So Inferno is still here. So we are thinking that she may not be able just to kind of come and go freely and liberally out the apartment without Salao escorting her. Is that kind of what we're thinking is going on? She just never really gets out. And I don't know if that's because her back hurts so bad, because that's what Pete said. Pete said her back hurt. And I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't, a combination of her back hurting because she carries an enormous amount of truncal obesity. That's my polite way of putting it. And she also has probably diabetic neuropathy at this point, I'm thinking. And she's, I'm sure she's got stubbed toes at this point too. I've heard poutine. Oh, disco fries. Oh my goodness. I'm going to have you guys all wanting to go out and get some poutine and some fries after this. I'm not doing a good job. Right. Yeah. I mean, she doesn't even go across the street to that beach. Adipose tissue, fat. Oh, she cannot be outside without an accompanied male husband in this case. Okay. Thank you, Lisa Lou, for clarifying that. Thank you. So that's why I think it was, Are You Serious? Saying she should get a treadmill in the house. And I think that's a very good suggestion. I think she should get some type of exercise equipment in the house. A bike? Well, maybe not a bike. Can you imagine Chantel on a bike? And the thing is, I don't even know if she'd feel comfortable, to be honest, on a treadmill, but she needs something, some hand weights, something. I mean, she could sit there and take her folks through some hand weights, couldn't she? She's getting hidden by Salad. He's trying to avoid detection. Right. Well, that's probably why she almost took that fall the other day. Why she kind of smiled, grimaced, and laughed all at the same time. because she never looks good. She always looks like she's giggling and laughing. She said that maybe that's why she's out there doing the wild stuff with the camels. She's high on painkillers when she's out there. My goodness. That's yeah. So see, okay. So I didn't know if they were having to follow that the female has a male as sort of accompaniment out in public. If that was still part of the culture for women who are from other countries, or can you be alone? I'm not too sure. Right. She could easily find a bunch of stuff on YouTube for free to start exercising. She don't have to sit here like this. All right, let's see her consume, more carbohydrates than her pancreas can handle. She's always, I mean, gosh, does she even have the
Really,
money
Natalie?
for
Why?
emergency room care visit in Kuwait?
So
How much is that?
I don't think I'm gonna bother going all out during Ramadan for clothing, but maybe for Eid.
Oh, why are you worrying about
I'll
clothing?
buy some nice new bios or something.
It looks terrible.
Do I like crumpets? Yeah, I do. You should stream members
Look,
only so my
Shaka,
can't snipe streams. 'cause they're getting in
Shaka,
trouble. How do they get in
Like
trouble?
that food.
Hawashi is so good, yeah. Hawashi's good. The bread with the meat inside. Wow, Natalie. Hi, Shelly. Hawashi is like the Egyptian version of arayas. I do miss Torrid and Pennington's Halls, yeah. It's against TOS, really? Which TOS does it violate? I want to know. I am thinking of starting to do more members only streams, though. I was thinking of doing it anyway.
No, it
But
would
if you're talking about the person I think you are, but like speaking of Owl, like not original Owl, but the other one, stream sniping, it's like they claim to be Muslim. Like my sister, I can tell you, if you want to be a haram police with me, it's very haram to be backbiting other Muslims. Walaikum salam, babe.
She's gonna have that sit down in 2 seconds.
No, any other Muslim woman, we call them sister. And if a male is talking to another male, a male would be
Maybe
brother.
she just needs a Twister board. She can play Twister with Salau.
They don't have Torrid here. They have a lot of clothing stores, but not a lot of like super.
Can you imagine her and Salau playing Naked Twister? Just the game Twister, does anybody play that anymore? I think that was like a drinking game, wasn't it? Was Twister a drinking game? There was some game like that in the 70s that was like a drinking game. My mom had it. It was like some game that you literally went around the board and got drunk. I can't. 2,700? Do you think she would lose weight on 2,700? That would be daily, not per meal, correct? We know that's actually per daily. And she tried to say she was going for 1,800 or something. Game would be over. Yeah, it would be a quick game. Can you imagine? She get one spin. I love the idea of sorry, that's it. Sorry, thank you. Sorry. No, just right. Okay. So not for weight, just her basic caloric needs. Okay. Well, she needs to go for weight loss, as we know. She's that's estimated. Well, I think most of her meals probably double in size, because I think from what I usually see from Sansa Cooks, that her meals probably come in at around, I want to say, 6,000 calories. All right, let me see this one. Okay. Oh. Let me get back to Boo Squeezy's question. Sorry, Boo. Okay. This was Boo's question. Some of these questions are great. Hold on. Oh, why am I not? Oh, here we go. There we go. Now, because Squeezy wanted me to make sure I understood this was a serious question. How close is she to losing a limb? These are the questions that are coming in from my community about Foodie Beauty's diabetes type 2 mellitus. And I understand the concern about her losing a limb. Now, fortunately, we've not been able to see her legs, feet, her Funkel's feet, or her Flintstone feet, her little toes in quite some time. And I was just thinking about this today when I saw Boo's question about whether where that video is where she said that she stubbed her toe in the apartment, I think right after she returned from Canada. And she commented that her toenail almost came off. And so ever since that incident, and I swear I heard her say that, and I wish I had been smart enough to have snipped it out, because if she does do anything to that toe, and the fact that she's not really managing her diabetes at all, let's just be honest, at all, because when you think a 10.5 is a great blood sugar, you're out of control, because that's not a great blood sugar. It should be under 120 on a fasting for managed diabetes, and you are not managed because you are well and above that. And so we don't even think that's potentially correct on that device either. You could be taking Salau's blood sugar for all we know. Anyway, if she continues to not manage the diabetes, she will start to have nerve damage that will actually stop the it will actually start to just kind of, the nerves will die. And as those nerves die and they're not able to like get like the innervation into the muscles and everything else, it will just start to die off, and it will become extremely, and the only way for you not to, lose your life and become like problematic from that is to actually be amputated. And so, and it usually starts at the foot. So yeah. So and she's not shown a leg, and she, and unfortunately she gets to be modest. And so she's, part of obviously her religion is modesty. And so she's not having to show us any of that. So she's not forced to show us that. So it's difficult to really know how close. But the way she walks and kind of doesn't seem to walk very well and looks very uncomfortable, and her walking videos, it's very short amounts of time that she's walking, and her one foot is really sent out. I don't know. What do you think, Cheekbones? Oh my goodness. I mean, how far is she out of having time? She can't see her feet. Right. And that's the thing. So one of the things that we recommend to diabetics is if you cannot see your feet, then you need to get a mirror that you can put in front of your feet and set it, say, at the end of the bed. So if you can't, you just get the mirror. And if you have like a head, a bed board, and you have the footboard at the end, you put the mirror down there or lean it up against something like the bed, because you're going to be up on the bed. And then that way you can have your feet being seen without you having to get yourself into a compromising position. So you do try to recommend to patients that they use mirrors in order to actually do feet checks and look at the bottom of their feet and so forth. Because there's a lot of times that you can actually have an infection starting there. And because of the neuropathy, you won't even feel that infection starting. And so she could walk around on an infected foot and not even feel it. And actually make the foot worse and exacerbate the foot. And because she's not really looking at her foot or doing feet checks or having somebody taking care of her, it could suddenly be really dangerous. So I think that would be something that I would be concerned about. So that's why diabetes is so bad, taking it like literally from every body part, your brain, your eyes, your teeth, because you get oral stuff. I mean, it's every part of your body going, if you mention every organ going or every part of your body going down, we'll talk and can explain to you how diabetes type 2 mellitus particularly, it even in parts type 1, but often type 1s are much better managed because they've been dealing with it for extended periods of time. If they've found out, there's a lot of people who don't find out until they're almost in their teens that they have type 1. It's shocking. But anyway, yes. Let me put Foodie on the stage. Medical, her fupa being so heavy and hanging down, as it were, can that pose damage to the abdomen? I mean, the one thing is it's got to be pulling, I would think more. I don't think it's really necessarily more the abdominal wall itself, but more the skin, because of the weight of that fupa being almost can be like bowling balls sometimes, and more pulling at the skin that's got to try to hold that more than, say, the abdominal wall itself. So it's sort of not really part of that abdominal wall per se, if that makes sense. So I don't think it's like that. She said, what does he say? Healthy weight loss. Oh, there's no healthy weight loss to Chantel. None. But yeah, I'm sure you would agree, cheekbones, if she doesn't get in there and start doing better feet checks and so forth, she's going to be losing a foot or something. Something's going to go bad on that foot at the end of the day, because she's not doing daily. It's supposed to be daily feet checks, man. And gosh, it's just a storm waiting to happen. It really is. It really is. And she's becoming less energetic because she's in this apartment. She's not getting out. She's not exercising, and she's eating huge amounts of carbohydrates. It's just not manageable. It's not manageable with somebody already diagnosed with type 2 diabetes.
They go up, some go up to size 28.
Wild.
All right. I'll save the rest of the soup as well. That's my mind by it.
Oh, God.
No, he had dinner earlier. Something else. I wasn't hungry when he was hungry, so. Babe, look at this bowl it came in.
You don't think she's checking the feed?
He had his other wife make him something else for dinner. Look, it's like a whole pot. Ta-da! Mash boobs. Dijaj. Dijaj is chicken. Mash boobs. Dijaj. Yes. Yes. Boy, do you want some Dijaj, boy? The Jiffy Pop mash boobs. She heard me. Hi, Tattoo Chick.
How many pieces of bread did she have to accompany that with the lentil soup and all those fried, whatever the for Jesus she ate to begin with? They were fried in something. This looks beyond the third of a cup of starch recommended at the meal. This is insanity, Chantel. God. All right.
Thanks, Jenna. Ramadan will be next week. I know. Are you excited, huh?
Go for a
minute. We gotta get some more dates or something. We gotta get a few more things.
Yeah. Great. I know.
Oh. We have to put the lights up if we can. You think we'll be able to? Well, you will have to do it, not me. I can't. Do you think you'll be able to put those lights up on this type of ceiling? I don't know if we want to make some holes on there, but okay. This bread is really fresh and yummy. I think I'm gonna save it because I don't really like eating bread with mashed goose. I don't want the leg either. So I'm going to say that.
Oh, the ring's back. I guess
Okay,
this
guys,
is chicken grease
so-
this time.
Hey, Chef Leftovers. Just not wearing any makeup. Yeah, that's why.
Oh my God.
Leave it to me. I will handle it. Hi, Danielle. How are you? How are you? So this is a lesson in match booths. We have the saffron and white rice mix basmati. And we have here, these things are little split peas, raisins, onions. It's so good. Oh, this chicken is yummy. So I've eaten at a lot of match booth places, but never this one. So bismillah. A little late, but I said it quietly earlier.
I guess she's not going to portion that out to a plate. Oh, you know, I'm just joking. You know, I know she's never going to portion any of this stuff out to a plate. I don't think this, the rare times I do takeout, I don't tend to do takeout. Very rarely. I just don't. If I'm going to eat food that's coming from somewhere, it's because I'm going to a restaurant with a friend and having a meal. That's how I'm going to choose to do that type of food. But she just took the lid off of that thing and just, it's supposed to be a third of a cup of rice. A third of a cup of rice. Third of a cup of rice. 15 grams of carb. I wonder how many cups of rice in there. How many cups of rice? Put your guesses down below. I would like to know how many cups of rice we have in here, because a third of a cup of rice is about 15 grams of carb. So for every cup, she's looking at 45 grams of carb. Jesus Christ. Sorry. I'm just baffled. Well, I'm not.
That's enough rice for a family of 12. Well,
cups.
yeah, it is a lot of rice. I'm not going to eat it all.
Oh.
Not now. It'll be good for a little while. Let's try the pickles. Where'd they go? Ah,
6
cups.
cups.
Dakus?
6 to 8.
Yeah, dakus, Sesky, yes.
Yeah, just
We have
a
some dakus
shitload.
here.
I would
Dakus.
cook 3 to 4.
That's enough for 3 wives. Stop it. Oh my gosh, they smell like the. Is this pickled aubergine?
Oh my God. Oh yeah, that's because she shared it with Salau.
Oh.
Uh-oh, she's gonna choke on that
Julia,
rice.
she stole a bone. Here.
That rice will take you down.
Sorry, that was so vinegary. Oh my God.
That thing will get
Julia.
stuck, man. Right down the larynx.
Julia.
Don't get you wrong. Get down the larynx, girl.
It's not the spice. You know what it is? It's vinegar. I need, because the eggplant
Right.
is spongy, so it absorbed all that vinegar. Like, whoo.
Oh, absolutely. She's gonna try to get this down as fast as possible. I mean, if she's eating anywhere near 6 or 8 cups of rice, think 45 grams of carb just for 1 cup. It's hundreds of grams of carb there. Hundreds. And she's not, the medications that she so thinks that she can, take extra. If she's taking extra too, how long is her prescription going to last? She's on a train to, oh gosh, somewhere bad. That's a terrible reaction. Train to somewhere bad.
Green chilies and garlic and stuff.
Reaction at its finest.
I'm gonna save some for you, hon, if you get hungry later. Then I don't have to make you something. Hi, Neve.
Yeah, her manic eating. Well, she's fed up to 1.52 inspiration, so I'll give her that. I'm making her look a little more manic.
Really? Like sugar and cheese. It's Yanni. It's like Yanni.
I don't know how she's even getting medication.
Very spongy.
Where she's getting medication from at this point. I need to. Who prescribed
My
me?
knuckles? I don't have knuckles. I'm chubby. I have chubby hands, fat hands. Match boost?
Oh my God! I swear,
Hi, Gary.
that last bite alone was about a third of a cup of rice.
Sorry if I missed anyone else.
That's wild. Wild.
Yum. Mm. I don't know where you can buy them here. Hi, Rosemary.
Oh,
I gotta
yeah.
try Mandy. I did try it once. It's pretty good. I think.
Absolutely. She got to get in there quick.
I tried Uzi rice too.
She's on a binge of glory.
Everyday Mariam Match Boost. I want to change my name to Mariam Match Boost. I haven't been to Latifah in a little while. Shawarma or shish soak? Shawarma. Oh, who was I going to reply to? Oh, not Sawtooth. It's like yellow split peas.
Oh, that's not a good sign. Those knuckles, that's not a good sign.
I love this food.
It's like a diabetes thing.
Yeah, this is too much rice. I won't. They always give you a lot of rice here.
Cheekbones, isn't the darkening around the knuckles, isn't that part of the sort of unmanaged type 2 diabetes, if I'm not mistaken? I want to say it's something, there's something that goes, it's either that or it's something in the heart. I know that sorry, I try to be a walking medical encyclopedia as much as I can, but sometimes my brain, and I know I've looked at this recently.
Right, yeah.
That is a
good
thumb
wrestling? No, because I have thumb. I tried thumb wrestling with Solana. I lost.
Quarter cup of
Sorry for the up close and personal.
It's huge. It's huge. It's almost a portion for the meal.
It's just
in
so
one
yummy and tender
spoon.
and yummy and tender.
It's wild.
All right. Yeah.
It is the insulin resistance. Thank you, Angela Glass. Maybe also that lupus
and creamy
circulation, which goes in hand with the
really
all of it.
Oh, thanks, man.
Metabolic syndrome.
I'm not on insulin, no. Yeah, I know, Eileen and Holly.
Metabolic,
I'm on medication though. That seems to be like helping.
All metabolic syndrome, man. Fingertips are purple.
It's called Genumet.
Yeah.
Metformin and something else.
A metformin and something else. Hold on. What was that, girl? Hold on. Metformin and something else. I love how she knows her meds so well. She's so managed.
I'm not on insulin, no. Yeah, I know, Eileen and Holly. I'm on medication though. That seems to be like helping. It's called Genumet. It's a mix of metformin and something else.
Oh,
there's raisins, babe, and then there's something else.
So is she only supposedly now taking Genumet? She needs to be on insulin. Look on. She used to say she was on metformin, Kat, and that's not what she's saying at the moment. She's just talking about Genumet. That would not be enough to manage somebody with Chantel's unmanaged type 2 diabetes. She needs to be on insulin. Absolutely. At this point, I would be curious to see her hemoglobin A1C and really a true fasting and a true insulin resistance test at this point. Because I think she 1,000 milligrams. Yeah, but the problem is what I think she does is that she takes more than the dose that's prescribed because of the fact that she wants to cover for her meals. So I think she thinks her Genumet can act as coverage for her diet. That's what I've heard from other people who've kind of sort of come in and sort of said, yeah, well, I think Chantel is doing this, this, and this with her meds to help manage. That's why she says she thinks her meds are working. But when you've got a 10.5 blood sugar, and that's supposedly your fasting blood sugar, and you think you're managed with your medications, that to me is a sign you are not managed. And she hasn't had a hemoglobin A1C that we're aware of. And it was probably out. But Jesus. I mean, who's ordering it? Right. And Jamie, who's then prescribing it? Because I would have thought the people in Kuwait would have thought she's going home to Canada to get medications. And I sometimes wonder, is that why she went to Canada? Was to get somebody then to become more of a regular prescriber at that point in order for her to get like a prescription. And then she could get it filled maybe with an online Canadian pharmacy or something. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there, but I just know that she's not got permanent residency there. And so how would she be able to get a primary care provider? I don't know. I'm not sure. All right, let's get back to this terrible meal, and then we'll get to some more questions from the community.
Also, it looks like yellow split peas. Oh, I will definitely pray for you, Danielle. I hope you'll be okay.
Yeah, his sister is a pharmacist, but I don't think she'd risk her license for her, to be honest. I don't think they're closest family.
But it's hard. Especially since here, everything comes with rice mostly.
She could easily get it. Do you think she picked it up? Do you think she picked up insulin when she was there in Canada over the counter? Because that's interesting. Because here in the States, darn, you can barely get anything over the counter here. Everything is needing simplest meds in the world. You need to have a doctor write a script for it. It's highly regulated here in the United States. So something like insulin, people would never let you have over the counter because you can kill people with insulin. I mean, that's one of the most common, I hate to say it, when you hear a lot of those stories about nurses doing home to patients in hospitals, the way they usually do it is through insulin because you can really do home with insulin. So I'm surprised they have it over the counter there. That's interesting. That's interesting. Gosh. Wow. That's interesting. Comparatively to how it is in the States. Right. She's doing some play around. Yeah. She's Dr. Shops. She's probably, I'm sure there, if she has, and this is where I wonder if she's, if she starts to have less money, because Pete's alluded to things getting more expensive or clinics being expensive in Kuwait. And I don't know if it's anything like certain countries that can have, if you give a little bit extra money under a table, you can, see somebody pretty easily. And so or get that private care. So I just wonder, but she's maybe running out of the capacity to get the private care because it's very easy to get private care, potentially even on a tourist visa, I'm guessing. I guess. I mean, there's always ways to get around anything. She has to pay full at the clinics. That's what I'm thinking. She has to pay full. And so, but supposedly, Pete says she doesn't like to pay for medical care. So I just wonder if she just says it to silence people that she's actually getting some medical care. In reality, she really isn't. I know she must be trying to take something to control the diabetes. Otherwise, she would be far more, even worse regulated than she is at the moment. He did. He said it's expensive there. He did. He said it's expensive there. She doesn't really like to pay for it. And that she doesn't really go to get a lot of care there. Right. She has money. Is that correct, Inspiration? Is that right? If she doesn't really, she's not. Yeah. I mean, my biggest concern is that this uncontrolled diabetes can lead to cardiovascular issues because it's, and I hate using this term, what's known as metabolic syndrome. And it leads to having higher, she already eats a very bad diet. So the other part that we kind of forget along with the diabetes is that this diet is very heavy in probably bad cholesterol. Even though she might have some items with HDL, but I'm sure her LDL, her low density lipoproteins, as they're called, and her triglycerides and her total cholesterol number are probably very high. And I don't think she's managed with a statin medication. And the diabetes can add to that, and that will increase her risk for having a really bad cardiovascular event. So I get concerned that she's getting to that age where if she, does not really start to manage it, because at least people here in the States, some are not managed, but they may potentially be doing more to take care of their heart. And she's doing really nothing that I can see. I know she's not checking her blood pressure regularly. This girl is not going to have a blood pressure that's sitting regularly 120 under 80. Not in a million years. She's definitely in the 150s over 90s, 160 over 90 range all the time. It's wild. Yes, it is crazy AF. Absolutely. Hey, Debbie, come on in. Yeah. And I know, I always feel like this is a channel of doom and gloom, but it's not really, because we're just trying to, right, exactly, Meg the artist. That's what I was saying about getting your eyes checked at 40, that, you know, in your 30s, you really should be trying to do preventative. I mean, much younger than you think. I mean, one of the things we always say is that a lot of the cardiovascular disease that we see in 50-year-olds was done much earlier. It doesn't happen between 40 to 50. This is stuff that's been happening since teen years almost. So it is insidious and it does take time. But when you're compounding it with this type of diet and with unmanaged diabetes like Chantel, then you're going to really, you know, get even worse. All right, let's take another question from my community. All right. So, oh, sorry, Shelly. Let me go back to Shelly's question. I don't think I answered this one last time, because I know we did some cardiac questions before, and I don't think I included Shelly's question. Let me see. Let me go back. There we go. Shelly asks, do you actually think she's getting any better? No, I think she's getting worse. Let's bring Chantel back. That's the simple answer to that question.
Chicken raw. Big spoon, tablespoon. Oh my gosh. Hold on. Babe? What are you doing? I told you she would go in the takeout bag. What are you doing in the takeout bag? What are you doing? Huh? What are you doing?
Trying to get out of there. The cat's
Yeah,
hoping she'll be taken away, girl. Freedom for Julia. Freedom for Julia.
Oh, that's okay, Tracy. Thanks for saying hey. I hope you have a good shift. What are you doing? That voice? When it's 2:30, Yuri. What are you doing? What are you doing? Her little bees in face. Very delicious place. But for some reason, babe, nothing has been better than free swallow. Yeah, it's babe. Babe. Last night I dreamt of San Pedro. Remember I sang that?
That's the second time.
Fast and Furious. Yeah. Definitely furious. Just like.
Kills me how close her face is to the plate.
Babe. Hi, babe.
I know. Oh my gosh, Rose. That's so funny you said that in the chat, because I had not even looked. I was on the video screen and I said, why does her face have to be so close? And then you said the exact same thing. I know. Why? Why so close? Why so close, Chantel? I mean, it's not the most flattering image, girl. Oh, this is. It is. Oh. Do you think there's a group of people that are paying her for her to have a more infantile look while she's eating? Like a baby content? That's why her spoon's so big and everything like looks so big to her? Because then it makes her look more like she's a baby and more immature. I mean, there's all sorts of weird stuff out there. I'm just speculating because, you know, She's a strange bird, old Chantel over here. And I wouldn't be surprised if she's not, because everything is like so big. The big spoon, the big plate, her face, but then she's really small to it. Like her head just like barely peeking out like a Ziggy. Do you remember that character Ziggy from the 80s? He's like, Ziggy always used to say some funny thing. She looked like Ziggy. No, I'm never gonna get Ziggy out of my brain. Does anybody else remember Ziggy? Right. I would be surprised if it's just so weird. Oh, you love Ziggy? I'm sorry, Inferno. I didn't mean to kill Ziggy with Chantel, but I'm getting Ziggy vibes here. Food faster, Shelly? Is that why you think? I mean, I think there's a certain amount of shoveling it there. Nah, she always used big spoons. I mean, we always have just suspected. Oh, no, I wasn't talking about Ziggy Stardust, Cat. I'm talking about a cartoon called Ziggy. It was like a little bald thing. And all you ever used to see was like the top of Ziggy's head and the little Ziggy nose. The feeder fetish. I can't really explain it as a turn on, Rita. I'm sorry, because I'm not turned on by that. So I have no idea. I have no idea. I'm sure there's a psychologist out there trying to figure it out. Right. It's a sexual thing. I know. For whatever reason, it's a turn on. So much rice. Half a cup of dinner tonight. Right. Half a cup. 30 grams of carb. Sounds reasonable. Oh, actually a little bit less. That sounds reasonable. Different levels. It's a deep rabbit hole. Yes. Ziggy from Ziggy, Rainbow Ziggy? I don't think it was Rainbow Ziggy. It was just a cartoon called Ziggy. I don't think it was from Rainbow Ziggy. I think it was just literally a cartoon called Ziggy. You did? Well, I'm just aging myself with the Ziggy references, Inferno. I used to draw little Ziggy cartoons because it used to be funny. She's more like Uncle Fest. Now, Mads, I'm never going to not get that image out my head. Sometimes I hear my laugh online. I'm like, oh, shit. People are going to think I have hiccups. It's my laugh. So if you think I sound like I have hiccups, that was me laughing. Okay, I'm just giving you a heads up. It's not me drunk. It's not hiccups. It's just me laughing. Her fetus like it. Oh, absolutely. Extra. Well, yeah, there's some body hiding, I think, in there too. But it's the fact it's just like the camera right there, girl. Yeah, compilation books too. Yeah, everyone go look up the Ziggy cartoon. You'll find out. You used to have a Ziggy cartoon lunchbox. She definitely's got like, oh, Chantel. It's just not you're singing the Addams Family. Yeah. Yes, it's just this is not her best look. She definitely needs to not go makeup free. She definitely needs to at least learn how to do like subtle something. I'm gonna start getting into I'm gonna start laughing. Oh, Ziggy. Yes. Soft Kitty. Ziggy was a comic character. Absolutely. Used to probably in the 70s or 80s, somewhere around there. Oh my God. I can't stop seeing Uncle Fester now. Especially at that face. That is a festering Uncle Fester there. Her feet are festering for sure. I want to know what's festering on your feet, Foodie. Foodie's festering feet. '70s to the '90s. Yes, around that period.
You thought it was a vacuum?
Good years. Good years.
I saw your comment every day, Shawanda. Pickled palate cleanser. Hi, green grapes. Palate cleanser. Yeah, I'm definitely going to do vlogs for Ramadan.
Oh, God.
Those are the most sour pickles I ever ate in my life. They made me choke.
That would be something.
Daily
That would be wild live.
Okay, I'll try it. Unless we
To
go out
actually
somewhere
watch
someone's house or-
Foodie choke. I've been waiting
I can
for
try
that
both.
too.
Just ate got a bidet. Hey, Fizzy Jim.
Hello, not there to say
I'm
that.
telling you. You will never go back to toilet paper. It's like, no. I don't know how people still use toilet paper.
What? Oh no, girl. What the confession there? How is okay? Is she just got a bidet? How is a bidet handling someone's Chantel's size? I grew up in Europe. I did have a bidet as well as a regular toilet in my family home upstairs in the bathroom because kind of that how it rolled in Europe, you know? So I just cannot imagine someone Chantel's size trying to get onto a bidet. So how exactly is she cleaning without use of toilet paper? I mean, I know that's a hard reach too. It's complicated being Chantel's size.
Boom. TP is.
Oh,
Christy,
not in
wow.
the kitchen.
I don't know how the dental care is here,
Oh, I hope not.
but
in
I'm
the
sure it's you have to
kitchen.
pay.
I hope not in the kitchen. That's gross.
But it's not that bad.
Oh, I hope not in the
Canaldo, I'm
kitchen.
not sure.
Oh, she drank all the water? Oh, that's not
Hi,
good.
Cozy Chronicles. Yeah, wet wipes too are good. I just ate. They're better than toilet paper, but let me tell you.
Okay. All right. Okay. So she got like a. She needs something. Got the floor drain. Okay.
When I was in Canada,
oh
I
God.
suffered.
Well, that's
The
good.
minute I got
Probably,
to the Doha
probably
airport,
the best thing
and
to
I saw the
hose her
days again, I was
down.
like, oh yes.
She needs to be hosed down on the regular.
Full.
She's a sheep dip.
Still have another meal left. Look at all the rice left.
Oh God, great.
Chicken leg. If you ever get hungry, babe, there's a whole meal for you.
Oh
In
yeah,
its own little container like that.
because that's just what Salah wants, is to have a meal from Chantel's hands, having been fingering around some food and some chicken grease and some rice. That's why, Chantel, if you were really going to be sharing that meal with somebody, wouldn't the polite thing to have done would be to portion what you were going to eat, knowing that you were going to be sticking your hands and your mitts in your meal? Because you can't get through a meal without sticking your mitts in it, girl. Not one meal with being mitt free, because you got to stick your hands in there. It's like a tactile thing. It's like you got to feel the food. You know, I am one of these people that goes through like literally 40 napkins and I'm not even like touching my food, but I'm constantly like wiping my hands for some reason on napkins. I don't think we saw a napkin either, did we? Did I see a napkin? Let's get back to a question from the community. That's wild. Oh, well, it's so nasty. It's so nasty thing to do. And then she's trying to say to her audience, she's going to share that food with Salam. Never a napkin. I know. She supposedly bought those paper towels, Captain Brian. Unless she's already used them on her alls after she hosed herself down. Because maybe that's her toilet paper. Maybe she don't use regular size toilet paper. Maybe that don't cut it. Maybe it had to be those Kleenex paper towels. Lord of my life. Oh, she's grubby. She is grubby. Oh, grubby mitts. Grubby mitts. Come on in, gas station sushi. We're getting horrified over here. And we're answering questions to the audience all at the same time. She's a total filthy minger. We learned that term the other day. She's minging, as we would say in England. She's an absolute minger. An absolute minger. This girl. Oh my gosh. Oh, all right, let's get to the next question from my audience. All right. Oh, sorry. I had it as a little video. Hold on. Oh, some of these are intense, I'm telling you. All right, here we go. Where did we get to lost? Hold on. Oh, yeah. Question about the folds over here. I think the last one I said she was just getting worse. Hold on. Oh, yeah, that was it. All right, let me make sure. All right. So a question here came in. Said, I've always wondered if you could touch on what happens in the folds. So we did talk about the food earlier. Foodie said she doesn't wash. This is, hey, okay. This is actually, and I did not expect we were going to be talking about her getting hosed down and using a hose to clean her backside was actually going to coincide with this question. But I would like to say I'm just, absolutely that great of a content creator and that awesome of a streamer that I planned it like that. So, yeah, there you go. Look at me roll. Hey, look at Foodie. Foodie would never be this prepared. So I've always wondered if you could touch on what happens in the folds. Foodie has said she doesn't wash past her stomach. I'm just trying to soak that in. I'm sorry. I'm just soaking that in. I'm just soaking that in, guys. Can also start in the folds. I'm not trying to be shady. I'm really wondering. Well, you're not being shady, Kiki. You're not being shady. She doesn't wash her lower half. Doesn't wash past her stomach. Oh, God. All right, let me bring her back up to the stage so we can see. I would think the bacterial function could happen if she is not cleaning or drying the folds. Well, the unfortunate part too, and I think Cheekbones can also speak to this if she's not fallen asleep, because I know she was tucked in bed, is that there is a lot of yeast infections that can come along with diabetes. Not only can you get like the oral yeast in the mouth, but obviously you are more prone to get yeast in warm and moist areas between skin folds, under the breasts. I mean, just wherever there's a fold, you're going to be more likely to potentially get yeast infections. And over time, I have seen where skin is breaking down. If you're not getting under there, you're not cleaning, you're not drying. There are women who do have to put things literally between their breasts in order to kind of get some of the moisture and not chafe under there. Sometimes, I mean, there's all sorts of stuff, but yeah, I mean, it's probably you would need to be making sure that you're bathing, and obviously the skin is the largest organ in the body. So it is a very good barometer of how good somebody's health is. So if her skin is not looking that good on her face and that's filtered, I can't imagine under all this clothing, because we don't really get to see how her skin is looking, especially at the legs. The legs can really tell a story. And that would probably give us an idea of how she's really starting to manage her diabetes and her health and so forth, more than, a lot of other areas. That, and those folds definitely could have potential for breakdown, just all sorts of infections. I mean, I just can't imagine not getting in there, not cleaning, not being able to dry properly in between, and just, keep the skin and also, using a nice moisturizer afterwards and getting, that skin barrier protected and locking, moisture into the skin to protect it as well. I mean, she's going to have to be real careful, real careful. We need to send her a rescue saw to free the tip from her fupa. Oh, that fupa. She needs an abdominal surgery on that fupa. That thing needs, I hate to say it, I actually had a patient who had a fupa that was larger than Chantel's that came in, this poor lady. And she always had to wear dresses because this thing was the size of a bowling ball and it hung probably all the way down to her knees. And she's kind of have to wear it up in underwear. It was bad. It was really bad. It was wild, absolutely wild. So I've actually seen worse. Right. And she doesn't really get out. And I know she needs to, somebody was mentioning where her fan was, but even then, even with her trying to stay cool, that, potential yeast from just the high sugars and her potentially not bathing and cleaning and taking good care of that skin, I think would just make it worse and get potentially worse. All right, keep going, Chantal.
And you go like that.
We're not necessarily going to watch all her videos.
And there's lentil soup and
doing all questions.
So if your other wife doesn't cook for you, I got you covered.
Oh, that fupa is like a bowling ball. Probably so fucking heavy, man. Pardon my French. Yeah. Yeah, that's not going to take care of the skin. Even her with the AC, the skin is still a yeast.
Really, Joanne?
Just, ooh.
Nice.
Ooh.
Okay, I'll be right back, guys, okay? Because I need to do something. I need to do something.
Right. Probably, yes, Santiago. Oh, it's hard. Where'd she go? Did she just leave her audience like that? She have to go to the restroom? Chantel, where'd you go? She doesn't put up a screen. She doesn't do anything. I mean, most streamers, okay, will try to do something to excuse themselves when they leave their audience. Chantel just leaves. Yeah, the sciatica in remission, Rose. So selling sciaticas, bathroom run. Oh, awesome. Well, let me speed her along then. Wow. That's let me see how many minutes she goes for. Okay, so this is 30 minute 35, okay? And I'm going to say how long it takes for me to see how long for her to come along. Okay. Wow. It takes her a while to go to the restroom, doesn't it? Because it took her 4 minutes. Oh, I guess.
Hi, Pam. Hey.
I think she does start to talk about her health here. I think she does. All right. Let me bring up one of my health questions. All right. Next one. Oh, sorry. All right. Let me go back. Make sure I didn't get this question. All right. Okay. So Azalea B says, from everything I've learned, treating type 2 diabetes with insulin is counterproductive and actually harmful. Now my question, is there a time when insulin is needed in an emergency situation, such as when our blood sugar is alarmingly high? Okay, so that's quite an interesting question. I mean, when you're no longer being able to produce, once your pancreas, becomes insulin resistant and is no longer being able to create insulin, then obviously you are going to have to use insulin in a type 2 diabetic to help them manage their diabetes. Otherwise, they would have other issues instead. start of people getting diabetes, obviously you want to be checking your hemoglobin A1Cs as soon as possible in order to find out if you are pre-diabetic or not, or where your blood sugars are. Because if you start to get up into the 5 range in your hemoglobin A1C, that's usually a sign that you're getting a little bit higher, and that you probably do want to make sure that you're keeping an eye on, your diet and your amount of exercise, and start to keep an eye on things and just keep an eye, because you don't want to get diabetes. You just don't. Now, you can become pre-diabetic, make those lifestyle changes I just said, and bring it back down. Now, if you do reach a time where you're over 6 and the doctor, you're, having the tests that are definitive for type 2 diabetes mellitus, and you are prescribed medication, the goal is that hopefully that you can start with something like metformin and start to use diet and exercise and potentially become diet controlled. You will always be diabetic. You will never not be diabetic once you are diabetic, unfortunately. It's not one of these diseases that you reverse your diabetes. It's unfortunately you will never not be diabetic. Once you're diagnosed diabetic, you are a type 2 diabetic. That's just it. So anyway, you would then want to try to use as much diet and exercise as possible so you wouldn't go any further, because obviously you don't want to become to a point where your pancreas isn't functioning properly and you are becoming more dependent on insulin. And that's where I think this idea that it's kind of counterproductive. You can't cure it. No, you can't cure it, unfortunately. Not even with cocaine, Santiago, can you reverse it. But that's what I'm saying. I've never heard that. That's why I'm saying I don't think if you are needing insulin, you have to use insulin. The best thing is obviously, as I'm, sort of discussing here, is to reach a point where you never become an insulin dependent type 2 diabetic. But somebody who's a type 1 diabetic has to use insulin. There's nothing else that they can do. And it's not really, if you need it, it's not counterproductive. If it's what's going to need to help get your blood sugar into your blood cells in order for it to make energy. Because if you don't have that key, which is insulin, to open up those blood cells in order, or your muscle cells, sorry, or the other cells that you need in order to produce energy, then you are, that's what insulin does. So you have to have insulin. You just don't want to become insulin dependent as a type 2 diabetic. So maybe that's where you heard that cocaine reverses it. Well, that's what Chantel will let you know. And you know what? She's a medical marvel. And she knows more about medicine than anybody. She knows more. She just does. She knows more than the Mayo Clinic. She knows more than anybody. What's the catch? Exactly. And that's why I was saying that your best thing is actually monitoring your blood sugar. Exactly. You want to get it pre-diabetic. You want to get the lifestyle so you don't even get to metformin. You literally want to get in there. But once you're diabetic, you're diabetic. That's it. There's no fixing that. Get diabetes. Hey, Chantel on that, and for no, Chantel on that party, but she won't tell anybody. She's gonna Discord you on that one. She's gonna have to clean soon, so she's gonna sciatica attack. Yeah, I know. She's gonna talk about having to get that housekeeper soon. She's over the gaming chair weight limit. That thing's on its last springs then. Maybe it's, you know what? Maybe that's why she's so low, Rose. Maybe part of it's given out. So it's like, like the spring that you have to use in order to actually up and down your chair. That thing is like gone. So she's like right down with the chair, just like on the little spinners. So maybe that's why she's so low, because the chair did give down. Oh, it runs in her family. Right. Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The hydraulic. Yeah. I'm wondering if the hydraulic went. And so she's like, she can't bring the hydraulic out. And that's why she has to sit so low. Right. Yeah, I think the hydraulics gone on that thing, man. The pneumatics. Yes. That thing gone, man. It's like, can you imagine trying to pump that thing up with Chantel sitting on it? That thing is like screaming, hey, no. Yeah, she broke that chair, man. That chair is a goner. Right. Right, exactly. Right. Yeah. Yeah. If it could be, sometimes it can it's a very difficult disorder to manage. It can be very difficult. I mean, you really, once you find it's like you better make some, I had a friend of mine whose dad was he would just eat again, he would eat whatever, pancakes with syrup, all this stuff. And then afterwards, he was a type 2, would just take all this insulin afterwards to like cover, all this stuff, which is completely the wrong way. It's just like you see some of the worst things happen. It's really, I mean, especially in this country, it's so expensive. I just would want to keep away. Okay, let's see our next question. All right, let me take this down. We stopped. Oops, sorry about that, guys. No, I don't want to forget these questions. And then we got a little bit more to go. I don't want to keep everybody here all night. I just appreciate you spending your Sunday evening with me. If you haven't had a chance to like the live, please hit the likes. I'm glad to see somebody here tonight. We got a long one. Oh, this is an interesting question coming. I think this is the next one. Hold on. Sorry about this, guys. Keep speeding along. Okay, we saw that one about that one. Okay. So this question, this is a long one, but it's interesting. Okay. It says her rages. Yes, we love to watch them. Yes. Then she deletes them. So here's my question. Do you think her rages are actually happening because her sugar levels are high? Then she deletes because of regret. The reason I ask is because my daddy, rest his peace, was first diagnosed with diabetes. His blood sugar was very high, and he would get mad and say things that he had never said to me in his entire life. The next day, he would apologize and say that he didn't know why he had gotten angry. He didn't want to lash out, and he couldn't hear himself, but not stop himself. When he finally got his levels under control with the right milligrams and medications, he wouldn't get angry as often. If he did, which again was rare, his blood sugar would be high. That is why I'm asking about Chantel. Is that your question, Em? Well, look at you go. Well, there you go, Miss M. I told you. Well, see, Miss Meg the artist thinks that's a good and interesting question. You think she's just a mean person? You think she's just mean? You think that's part of her? He was a brittle diabetic? I mean, I certainly would say that not feeling well is going to make people irritable, and certainly potentially having higher blood sugars. I certainly have dealt with a lot of irritable hyperglycemic patients before. I don't know if there's any studies about that. That would be something I would have to look into further. I've never really heard an association between rage and hyperglycemia. It's not something I've known to be a symptom or not that goes along with it. So I don't know about that. I can imagine. I know people don't feel good when they don't feel well. I don't. It'd be interesting. I would have to take a look at that one. I'd have to take a little bit closer look on that. Right. And I think that's one of the big things about that. You get very irritable in my aura. Right. Yeah. Yeah, and that's part of it. I think her irritability can be because of a multitude of factors, just absolutely a multitude. All right. Let's see what, Miss oh gosh, let's see what she says here. We'll answer a few more questions and we'll wrap it up. Probably
The maximum are four wives. Who the heck
it
can
was
four
a
wives?
good question.
Seriously.
Yeah.
So, you heard me use the toilet? You weren't muted? Yes, I was. Thanks, Pam. It's only someone with a deep H. Meep. Welcome back. Thank you, Carrie.
I also think she thinks she makes a lot of money from the raging. So I think raging is part her, part show. But her rages are less ragey. They're very low energy rages.
I don't even know what deep H is. My wife is enough for one. Yeah, exactly. Women are a handful. Hello, intro. Fufu egger. Fufu eggs. Oh my gosh, fufu egg. Did you fufu? Hi, Anna G. Hey, tattoo check. What time is it here? 11. I'm more than a handful, yeah. I'm a lot to deal with.
Look at that face, man. I'm a handful. I'm a lot to deal with. I mean, I know we all have our personality quirks. I sometimes don't think that I'm the easiest person sometimes in regards to I find it easier to live alone just because I've lived alone for so long and I'm really particular about stuff. And so when I have other people, because I was an only child probably. And so when I have other people in my stuff and things, it does cause me actually a fair amount of anxiety. I have lots of friends though. So I get out and see friends. I was sad because I was up a little bit late on Friday night and this morning I woke up a little late and I had a text message from a friend and they were at the dog park with their dog Coco, who if you look at Junebug, you've seen her with her puppy friend. Anyway, I missed my friend at the dog park. And so I was a little bit bummed out about that. But I see, different friends all throughout the week. And so difficult, but she wears it like a badge of honor. And that to me is very immature. I mean, we all know we have things about our personalities that make us difficult. But look at that face. That's like a face like, oh, look at me. I'm so happy about it. Sounds she's just a horrible, right. Okay, yeah. Yeah, she is just a horrible human being, unicorn fault. She really is. She's a terrible human being. Her, if they moved once, she got back to wait because it's not the same apartment. Oh, really? There has been talk about whether it was, but then somebody analyzed the lights or something. That's how wild we get. I get to analyze the diabetes though. Luckily, I kind of, have already done a lot of studying about diabetes and worked with a lot of diabetic patients. So fortunately, I just sometimes have to read and check up. I am going to double check about the irritability and diabetes. I'd be more curious if that comes from the medications. I'm curious because I can imagine it would make you irritable not to feel good. I mean, she's a 40-year-old toddler. Absolutely. I mean, this is just like, she's not even, and she says she wants to like change and be a better person and do all of these things. If that's your goal, then why do you say stuff like that? Because that doesn't make sense to me. That doesn't make a sense. I've had to analyze a lot. Yes. I think somebody like literally analyzed her ceiling lights. She's needy. She's very needy. Oh, she's so needy. Absolutely. And maybe she should decrease it. They got blocked? Well, how dare they give good advice like that? How dare you? How dare you? I mean, I have people tell me all sorts of stuff. I mean, it's okay. I mean, one thing if you're going to come out and be a streamer or do any type of content creation, part of what comes with the territory is people, giving you feedback. And you either take it well or you don't. I mean, you either learn and grow from it or you don't. And she chooses not to, as we know. She'd love to have it. It's right. Black with anger. Yeah. She looks black with anger at the moment, man. Look at that. She's probably angry she's not getting any chat money. Look at their eyes going back and forth. Oh my gosh.
Look at her leg when she licks herself. It's like a chicken leg. What?
That cat's trying to hope that somebody will take her out in the bag.
Hello, Lady Raven. Hi, thank you. Hope you're well too.
She can sneak out with the trash.
Again, last time I was in Cuba.
Take it
out. I'm in
out.
Kuwait. Yeah. Inshallah, here to stay. She doesn't have a cat tree now. I should get her one.
Well, that's what we're going to find out more about, Denise.
I'm considering it.
It's not a usual sign, though.
Probably.
More lethargy.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. I don't feel like camming up, though, because I have to set up the camera. That's why I'm lazy. I don't even want to wait for Salah to do it. Maybe I can. I don't want to be in the green screen. Well, I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you think, babe? She loves the bags, yeah. I don't want to play Fallout. You missed yesterday's gaming? Yeah.
It always surprises me that she's, other than bringing out food to show people, which, literally all she does is then set up a meal, and she's not cooking anymore. It didn't take her long for that takeouts to start. I mean, she's got all that rice and potatoes. I'm sure whenever she gets those potatoes out again, they're all going to be sprouted. She could be out there then like planting potatoes, like a full thing of them, full vegetable patch of potatoes, because they'll all be sprouted. Every single potato. And sprouted potatoes do not taste good. It's not like onions, you can cut them off and use them. Sprouted potatoes taste terrible, man. Oh, it's just a waste, man. All right, let's bring up another question. Oh, sorry. I was trying to stop it. Hold on. All right. I'm going to bring you down, Miss Pam, just because so I can show my question a little better. I want to know how diabetes affects other organs. In specific, how does it affect her liver? I know she has fatty liver, so I just want to know if diabetes and fatty liver may exacerbate her condition. Well, what's also now, I just used the term the other day, was it was MASD, which was metabolic something stenotoric. Oh gosh, liver, MALSL. Anyway, there's a new name for it, for non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. And in reality, the diabetes is what starts to precipitate that disorder, because the sugar that is stored in the liver to be used when you are without blood sugar in the bloodstream, and you still need to have energy to have your body have its functions. So if it's going into the muscle tissue, or it's going into, whichever tissue that you need to have insulin, open up the little, cells that, allow the sugar into the cell in order to produce energy in that specific part of, if it's muscle tissue or whichever, it's all different types of tissues. It's not just the muscle. So the liver is the organ that stores the extra blood sugar in order to take the role of sending that extra sugar out when your body is not eating and you need to have sugar for energy. In Chantel's case, she is continuously circulating blood sugar in her bloodstream because her blood sugars are unmanaged. She is not needing all that blood sugar because she's not energetic enough to use it up. She's not like Michael Phelps out here swimming for the United States swim team and needing to eat 6 loaves of bread a day or whatever he used to eat, because he used to eat mad amounts of food. But he could eat that amount of food and not be Chantel's size because of, obviously, he was burning it up through his sport. Or people who are outside or doing very labor-intensive jobs and burning energy. And Chantel not doing that. So the liver ends up being oversaturated with blood sugar, or glucagon, I should say, because it's not blood sugar at this point. It's just glucagon. And so over time, it just gets more filled and more filled and more filled. And that is what contributes to the fatty liver disease. She also, diabetes can add to scarring in the liver. Oh, yes. And the scarring, is that through the through the tearing, I'm thinking, because the liver is where all your bloodstream, is where all your blood is taken through and taken care of. So since it's so important to blood function, I can only imagine that it is getting damaged and destroyed by the extra blood sugar in the bloodstream, and the fact that those molecules are so large that it's actually damaging the inside of that organ. Would that be probably in that right realm? Let me see what's Megan. Let me bring so she can say, I got a bag of sprouted potato. I'm gonna plant them. Yeah. I actually had like a little potato planter for that purpose out in my garden. And it was like a little special thing so you could actually kind of lift the container and see how they're sprouting. Because there's like a certain method of planting and growing and so forth with the potatoes. And of course, the possums got to them. But yeah, you don't ever have to waste potatoes. So yeah, that's why gosh, the cirrhosis, man. God, that's a horrible disease. If you want to come and study what diabetes type 2 will do to a body, then come to my chat, man. You'll just learn all about it. You replant sprouted potatoes every year? Okay, let's hear 2 seconds of Chantel. We'll get to our next question so we can finish.
That's okay, Amanda. Play Fortnite.
I think she does talk a little more about her health.
Really? I didn't know. Gamer, Ghostface Gamer. Do you like Five Nights at Freddy's? Sims? I don't know if I want to play Fortnite. We'll see.
Oh, Chantel.
Isn't it like free on Steam?
Nobody wants you in their gamers communities. You've already been protested against.
Play Mario?
They're going to start change.org
I only have PC for gaming. I suck at shooting too, but now I've gotten good. No way, Danielle. I guess I just have to practice. Lethal Company, never heard of it.
All right. How long did she go on about this?
I feel tired and like drained of all energy.
Oh, here she goes. All right. Oh, shocking. She feels tired and drained of all energy. I think this is the part where she actually I'm thinking the yes is involving the extra, the size of those glucose molecules being large and messing up the liver and tearing it all up like old shards of fiberglass. Because somebody's actually emailed me because they were so shocked to have heard that because their practitioner never explained it that way. And I had to say that yes, that's what happens because the molecules are so large. They're supposed to be taken into your cells and used for energy. They're not supposed to hang out in your bloodstream. And what's additional is then stored in your liver for use later on. That's how it's supposed to go. But that's not how it goes for Chantel. She's gonna need some. This girl needs to be sitting in a 19th century Chinese opium den in order to manage and maintain anything she's feeling at this moment in time. She needs to be in an Oscar Wilde novel. Yes, maybe. Yeah, maybe. Maybe that rice just kicking on in. Yeah, she's starting to get the food slumps now. She's getting the food slumps. She's getting the food slumps. Okay, let's see how she complains a little bit more about. Oh, that's a lovely picture. She really needs some dental care. I know she don't want to go to the dentist, but as a diabetic, you should have more regular dental checks because of potentially getting, oral yeast and other things happening. So it's not really just to be like, oh, horrible. It's really like, do you want to take care of yourself? Because it's not like you're just going to magic this away or one day say, I'm glowing up. Because when you have done this much bodily damage, it's a little bit beyond just a simple glow up at this point.
I have to force myself. Super Mariam Brothers. Use an emulator? What's that? What's that, Estrella? Estrella?
I can't imagine her breath.
Amnesia. Yeah, I want to play Amnesia too.
Well, I know you worked as a dental hygienist.
There's so many horror games.
So I think you know how bad it is. It's probably gingivitis setting.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of probably not going to wear makeup anymore. Are you guys okay with my plain Jane? Hi, Alien Holly. Sorry, I didn't see your comment.
Oh.
Did you say it when I was gone to the washroom?
I think when she puts her oral yeast
in her food,
her pickle juice.
Barbara Smith, are you saying that only people who go out and work, and actually I do work, it's mentally draining what I do. Hi, Sigmund. And just because I don't have kids doesn't mean I don't have other problems. I have a lot of health problems, and I have a lot of mental health problems that make me.
How is what she's doing mentally draining? I mean, other than being just Chantel, which I can't imagine would not just be mentally draining anyway. Because, I mean, sometimes I have to take breaks from Chantel and watch other YouTube girlies because Chantel was very draining for me. But what is in her content is so draining. I promise you, before I got on this live tonight, I walked my dog, probably third walk of the day, like 30 minutes. She's asleep. Just to give me actual energy to come on to this live. So I ate dinner and then I walked and then I came on. So, and after, I think, I gave myself time too, to prepare for tonight's live in the respect of, just even getting the questions and kind of making them into a little video. She doesn't do anything. She just pops a takeout in front of her. That's it. It eats. How is it mentally draining? Other than the fact that you are knowing that anything that you put out content-wise is going to be absolutely picked apart. That's the only part that I could see would be mentally draining. But otherwise, what you're doing, girl, is not mentally draining. Eating 6,000 calories is draining on your stomach and on your heart and on your poor pancreas. But now else, girl.
Fatigued, to say the least.
Fatigued?
I came across a Twitter video of Sarah Jane talking and I fell asleep standing up. Hi, Lynn.
Those are not good
People with
symptoms,
sleep disorders
okay?
are tired,
Fatigue is
yeah.
not a good symptom. All
It's like
right,
only people
just
who
gonna
like go out
say.
and work and have kids can be tired. That's so weird. But okay.
Yes,
What am I dealing with mentally?
that's
I just have
absolutely
clinical
hard
depression.
work.
So
Double fisting takes
it makes you
whole
feel
time.
like you don't even want to get out of bed. Like you don't have the energy to even get out of bed, you know? I have an Arabic friend sister from Egypt who didn't like my last few profiles as Go Face. So I changed it into this pic. Oh. Now you're
She didn't even have the energy to get out of bed. Now that could be depression. Even though she can eat a fair amount, that would be the only thing that would be a sign of depression for me, is the fact that she don't want to get out of bed. You know, like when you don't want to get up and like be excited about the day, like I and I'll be honest, I was thinking about this in comparison with Chantel, and I want to say, God, I feel like I'm a terrible representation for the female gender, but I think it's International Women's Month in the month of March. Is that right? Is it Women's Month? Anyway, I was just thinking, and I'm not in a place like Kuwait. I'm here in the States. And I was just thinking that how blessed I felt this evening. It was beautiful weather. It's March. We're headed into spring. I love seeing all the stuff out for Easter. I've got a dog I freaking love. I've got friends that I really like. I love coming out and streaming and talking about things to do with health with you guys, and hopefully then getting it out further to people on YouTube and maybe having these conversations. I was just having a great night. It was such a nice night. I love watching a little bit of 60 Minutes. So I had 60 Minutes on the TV, just having a really nice evening. Excited about coming on, excited about talking about these questions. Just really excited, just excited about it. And just to think about somebody just all the subscribers, all the opportunity, and to be this miserable. And that just is what speaks to me that there's got to be something much more deep seated with Chantel, which we all know there is. But this is somebody that is not even, and this is why, I mean, just speculatively speaking, she's such an interesting person to look at in her mental health, because it shows us how difficult it is to manage, because most people in their right mind wouldn't be wanting to put themselves in situations like Chantel puts herself into. Not at least in my opinion. Let's see what the chat says. And if you haven't hit the likes yet, hit the likes. We don't have much longer to go. Let's pick up another question from my audience, because they make way more sense. She also has a plan. Right. Exactly. Oh, absolutely. Oh, that very low energy reaction that she gave with Yo Mama at the end of the month was absolutely to try to get more money, more views. And I think her live stream, she did get way more people in the live stream than usual, but not many people were actually in the chat. It was just the people watching. And that's just people probably like watching to see if she'll rage. And I'm just thinking, gosh, what an existence, hey? You're almost 40 years old. You really can't afford to rage like that. You really can't. Your blood pressure and your heart, as much as you think it's an act, it's still putting an effect on your organs. You're still raising your blood pressure like that. You're still putting yourself through that. And it's just, I know it's doing her no good at the end of the day. And she's hitting that unfortunate 40 mark, which, I mean, it's not going to be good. And will be in camera in bed and sick for as long as she can. I mean, Chantel is going to be, if as long as YouTube gives her a platform, Chantel going to have a channel. Whether how miserable it looks, it's going to be there. It's not going to matter. What I did it. Right. Thank you. I didn't even see your comment, cheekbones. I'm just like, I'm on my freaking soapbox over here. Yeah, she'll be here till the bitter end. Absolutely. Oh God, she'll probably hope that would increase her coins, but I think there have been other creators who've pointed out very well that even her chat is starting to get fed up with her and getting bored with the content, bored with her lack of if you kind of hear her as she's deflecting all these people in her comments at the moment, she is absolutely having her audience getting sick and bored of this. Because what are you coming in for? You're not learning anything about this very interesting country that you're living in. She doesn't really describe the food. It's the same food every time. So she's not exploring new dishes from those regions. There's now. There's now. And there's so many really good content creators nowadays. I would like to, I'm always trying to still figure out how, and I'm trying to think, how can I get emojis without having to have people pay for memberships and stuff? So I still need to do, I'm still new at this stuff because I just love people coming in, hit the likes, and just like coming in and watching and even just sharing my content is just what I ask, because I really just want to get the message about health to counteract really bad information that somebody like Chantel gives. Because it's just, she can't say she out here with the genuine and managing the diabetes, because she just full of lies. All right, next question from my audience, who are much smarter than Chantel. All right. What you saying here, Catherine? Right. Oh, yeah. And then the relationship with the men are just out of control. Star in her own sitcom. She's definitely a star in her own sitcom. Absolutely. She has to hype the views. Hype the views. Absolutely. And the thing is, it's like her energy for the hype is getting less and less. Like, at least in Canada, when she was having to use more energy, like she was still pretty like low energy. Don't get me wrong. I mean, she was pretty much from car to restaurant to car, but at least she was out and moving. At least she did some like videos of some sites. She was probably at least exercising a little more technically. I mean, not real. I mean, this is just bad. You can't be sitting there like this. She needs to exercise. She's got to get some type of physical activity. She really does. All right, let me add this to say. Oh, I keep. All right. Oh, sorry. All right, we're almost there, guys, on these questions. We got a couple more. Okay. All right. Okay, so this question also, I think this was the next one. Let me just go back. All right, we talked about the organs. Her poor organs. Okay. Let me have a little sip of water here. And I'll read this question. It says, do you think it is... I'm sorry? Do you think it's possible to manage type 2 diabetes without a permanent doctor? Sorry, I don't mean to, I'm not laughing at the question left by the person. I'm just laughing because we know Chantel has no permanent doctor. Will they prescribe insulin if you're not registered with a doctor as on a tourist visa? Now, unfortunately, I did not investigate what the regulations on insulin are in Kuwait. So let me double check. Because as Pam pointed out, you can get insulin over the counter in Canada. I'm thinking probably in somewhere like Mexico, it's probably also over the counter at a pharmacy to get insulin. Santiago, if you're still in the chat, I think, are you living in Mexico, Santiago? I know Reality Chica does, if she's in the chat. But But I want to say probably in Mexico you can get it at a pharmacy over the counter without a prescription. Can't get crap in the United States without a prescription, man. I mean, in the United States it's tough. Probably I want to say in the United Kingdom you would need to have a prescription. In the United States, somebody would kill somebody with insulin. You know, we're just wild here. So they gotta regulate that stuff. As I said, it's the nurse's favorite thing to use in the hospital. Scary. Scary but true. I don't know. Does anyone let me see? Kuwait insulin regulations. Let me see if they say anything. Let me see. Oh, here they are. Prescription laws. All right. It would take me a little bit of time to there's all sorts of different. I would have to ask somebody. It's going to take me a little bit of research to find out. So, as I would say, I would not trust somebody like Chantel to even get over-the-counter insulin and try to manage her diabetes. I would be scared that somebody like Chantel, unfortunately, could use that to binge out even further. I'm surprised she wasn't getting it more over-the-counter and using it, unless she is nervous about using medications she doesn't really understand how to use. I'm surprised. I'm surprised. She's not going to pay for it. Is it expensive in Kuwait? I'm going to add Chantel. Is it expensive in Kuwait? I'm not sure how much it would cost. You could get non-medicated insulin over the counter. I don't know how well that would work. I'm not familiar with non-medicated insulin. I'm curious about that. It's something I have to look into, Chris O. That's something about. All I know is that the big thing with diabetes is in reality, not necessarily, well, you want to know how to dose your medications, and it can take time to find the right medications that work well with that individual for managing their diabetes, and that makes the patient not feel unwell. Because often some of the newer medications especially can cause quite a few side effects with nausea, especially the nausea can be really bad. And not just with Ozempic, there are other medications that can give the same type of discomfort and side effect. And so not all people respond the same way. Not all medications are equally effective in all, but everybody's body. You know, that's why there are so many different types of medications. So I think the most difficult thing for somebody like Chantel, while she's unmanaged, is trying to get that combination correct so she could actually be managed. That doesn't mean that all the organ damage that she's already had isn't already in play. That's just to try to get the diabetes under control, which means that the neuropathy that could have potentially happened, that can't be reversed either. Once you have damaged those nerves and you've not treated them quickly enough, you will permanently damage those nerve endings, and you will never return those nerves back to good health, and you will always feel uncomfortable there. So that's another reason why managing diabetes early is so important. Let me get back, make sure. Right. All her money goes to the food, unfortunately. So as much as we can talk about her managing it, she's not going to manage it. All right, let her talk a little bit, and then I think I maybe have one more question, and then we'll finish out.
Your no face. Only one left.
I'm not worried about finishing out all her talky parts.
Biometrics, what do you mean? People without kids get tired too. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, for goodness sake, Chantel. That's not the reason You know, don't start trying to bring people's kids, people who have kids and have to work. I promise you, girl, I've had colleagues of mine with probably not very well controlled type 2 diabetes. I had a concern with a colleague of mine, and she was only a couple of years older than you. And her blood pressure was getting super high. But she actually had some doctor access, but she also was like a typical sandwich generation. She had her mom at the house, and her mother seemed to be having a really sharp cognitive decline and was needed to have that managed and limited financial resources too. Then she had like children from the ages of 6 to 21. I mean, just all different ages. And then she worked a full-time job. That's somebody who was freaking tired, girl. Not you, Chantel. Okay? Stop the nonsense, girl. The only reason why you're tired is because you just consumed 6,000 calories of nonsense that your body doesn't know what to do with anymore. Stop the nonsense, girl. Stop the nonsense. You're embarrassing to childless women, okay? I don't have kids. I wouldn't have the audacity to say that shit. The fuck off on that. Pardon my French, guys. It's now getting late. But this conceited son of a bitch is just driving me nuts now.
You know? And you don't know what I do all day.
Dumbest shit I've ever heard.
So.
Pardon me. To
Goodbye,
make me right, sorry, my voice
Rita.
is getting scratchy. I'm starting to sound like a teacher.
Canadian wildlife and wilderness. Sometimes the greenery, yeah. But then when I'm there, I miss like.
All right, let's see my last question.
I do take antidepressants, yeah. I have seen many therapists before.
She's taking antidepressants.
Hi, Teardrop.
Okay.
How are you this evening? How are you?
So she's, God. Okay, let's see my last question. So I'm not going to try to get into all her psychobabble crap. Pardon my French. But yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised that she wouldn't have been put on antidepressants, and especially, you know, especially if she's had a diagnosis around about the time with her hysterectomy, having medications and being diagnosed with things like depression with major medical events are not unusual. So I'd be curious at what time were those diagnoses and were those medications given at the time to manage that? Because that would make sense to me. Other than just being, randomly, prescribed. Sorry. All right, let me get my last question here. I think this is my last one. Oh, no. Okay. I think this one. Okay. Let me take this out. We're going to get the last questions quick. It's Pretty Privilege. Yeah, she's very beautiful. She's the most beautifulest woman in the world. Just as Salau is the most handsomest man, Foodie is the most beautifulest woman. Okay, my voice is going. So let me get through these last couple of questions. I can hear my voice going. I want to know how long she can have diabetic neuropathy and what happens next. Does it ever get better or just gets worse? And what happens next? Well, I kind of just answered that question. That the diabetic neuropathy, unfortunately, if you are starting to get diabetic neuropathy because your nerve is becoming damaged, then that's damaged. And it's unfortunately, you're not going to be able to, reverse that if it's through the diabetes. Now, there are times when people can have nerve changes because they don't have enough vitamin B, which is why it was interesting to hear that she was getting those B12 injections, she said, because that lack of B12 could cause nerve changes because you're not getting that vitamin. And if you do not correct that balance of the vitamin B12, then it can be permanently damaged. With diabetes, though, the damage is coming through a different means with the blood sugars being elevated. And that is what's messing up the end of those nerves. And that damage is more permanent. I think that's correct. As far as it's not, and you just can't reverse it. And that's where people start losing limbs. So it doesn't get better, unfortunately. So yeah, it's not able to get better. Okay. Next question. And then we'll finish this out. Let me play the next question. All right. Oh no, I said I still have maybe potentially one more. We'll see. Because my voice is starting to go, so I apologize. There was one video, sorry, Pulpy was reacting, I think, but I don't remember which video, where we couldn't tell if she was wearing socks. Oh, I think I talked about this one before. Or if her leg is truly pale and sick looking. I'm curious as to what happens if she ignores the diabetic symptoms long enough. Also, I think I answered this one before on another one. So yeah, we said that actually didn't look like a sock, it looked like her leg. So I think I've maybe brought that one up before. Okay. All right, that was my last question. Okay. Hey, come on in. Oh, you love the channel. You just, oh, well, thank you, Blonde Interest. I appreciate you saying that. I'm so sorry for my my voice dying at the moment. I do have my water here, but I can tell I'm starting to talk for an extended period of time. And now I'm starting to have that teacher voice. I think that's why poor old Pulpy started to sound like he got laryngitis the other day. Says, I just have one more time for that. Oh, 3. That's excellent. You should be so proud of yourself. That's wonderful. Now, was that your hemoglobin A1C, Blonde Empress? Because if your hemoglobin A1C is a 3, that's I don't know if that's too low. That may be too low. So I don't know. I think if that's the hemoglobin A1C, I don't know. Is that a range from the USA too? Because that can be different as well. Yeah, is that? Yeah, I was about to say, isn't that low? I thought the range was like 4 point something to 5 point something. But I don't know if it's out of another country because sometimes I know like the labs for different countries are read slightly differently. Like I would look at my dad's lab work from the UK and it was like a little bit different how they do the labs. And I think if it's Canadian, the labs are a little different. 5.6, that's pretty good, Angel. Don't get any higher than that, though. Don't get any higher than that. You got Blonde. Yeah, let us know, Blonde, if that's it. And then we'll finish out, just to finish this out right there. Because we're not going to listen to any more Chantel. I'm done with Chantel. Because I think the range, let me see what the proper range is. I used to know all this from my NCLEX. All right. Why didn't they ever show it so I can just see it? No, what? Oh, sorry. Oh. I was trying to pull up this little picture here. Normal, less than or equal to 5.6. So whoever had 5.6, you were in the normal range. I was trying to see what the lowest could go. I'm not getting any answers here on that. I know it. All right. Can you remember off the top of your head, cheekbone, what the range was? I'm certainly going to lose the audience here because I can tell. I saw a range and then I couldn't bring it up. I don't know why. Just said less than or equal. Trying to bring this up from the Cleveland Clinic. Cleveland Clinic came number 2 as the best hospital in the world. But I thought there was like a normal. Okay, so anything under 5.7. So 3 would still be great. 3 would be great. So anything under 5.7 is within normal range. So 5.6, you're right on the cusp there, Angel of Glass. I would say just make sure that you're getting, a good 30 some minutes of cardiovascular exercise in every day and just keeping an eye on, a little bit with your diet. Not that I'm your provider and obviously talking to your provider obviously about anything. But as a nurse, if, even as a community nurse, I can make those recommendations. So I am able to make those recommendations professionally. I try to be very cautious. Anything from 5.7 to 6.4 is pre-diabetic. And then anything greater is 6.4 is now diabetes. But I always wonder, because they do change those ranges. So I wonder if they're ever going to change those ranges at all. All right, guys. You all 5.2. Okay. 4.3. Okay. Okay. That's why I was wondering. Yeah, I just saw anything under 5.7 was what the Cleveland Clinic said. I should hold on. Let me share that screen and then I will finish that out. And then we'll finish out Chantel. Because this is what I saw. Just to show. And then I'll put down the chat. They had a nice looking little. Here we go. See, they had all these little ranges and stuff here. That's kind of what I was seeing. Oh. See, they were talking about the A1C target levels over here and all about the hemoglobin A1C test. And this was coming from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, which is one of my favorite resources to look at for these, because I know this is actually peer-reviewed information and not coming from some wild website that will tell you that Unimate or Unicity or one of these wild MLM products is going to manage your diabetes, because it's not. It just isn't. Well, you're welcome. I try to find things quick. Used to be, yes. Right. And that's why I wondered about that 3 being a little bit low. So I'm not sure with that Blonde Empress if that's not too low. It may be a little too low. They may say that you're not getting enough carbohydrates in your meals or enough sugars. And you want to have enough, because otherwise you're not going to be able to produce enough energy. So you do have to have a certain amount of, blood sugar in order to get energy into your muscle cells. So I'm wondering if you're carb restricting at all. So just be, cautious of that. I'd be curious. Let us know. You got to mix the unicity. Yeah. Well, that's how diabetes is managed. And Chantel has a whole following for that. If you get that, that's right. It's the way it goes. That's the way it goes. Yeah, it could be hypoglycemia. Yeah, just be careful. Your doctor be mad if yours is 3. Yeah, I'm not sure, Blonde Empress. That's what I'm saying. That might be a little low. I don't want to freak anybody out over here, though, because I'm not your provider. So obviously your doctor will let you know. And you just have to keep us up to date. Well, you know what? That's what the the Canadian College, of Endocrinologists said. Is that's how you cure that dang diabetes. It's fully peer reviewed by all standing endocrinologists. It's the unicity and a little bit of Coke. That's what I've heard. That's what I've heard. All right, guys. My voice is totally gone. If you haven't had a chance to hit the likes yet, please hit the likes. Please hit the subs if you haven't subbed yet. And I still have more diabetes. Amen. You know it's right. Absolutely. The Canadian College of Endocrinologists have stated that is how you cure type 2 diabetes. That's the cure. You know, we got to patent that bitch too before Chantel gets in there. Yes. 9 out of 10 endocrinologists do recommend Unicity. And then 10 out of 10 actually endocrinologists recommend cocaine or coke. Oh, I'm still trying to get funny. And you can hear my voice is going. So let me not try to take the voice down. I love Sigmund Freud too. Yes. He's very, they love it for the oral fixation. That's why they love it. And we know that Chantel very orally fixated. That girl can't keep anything out of her mouth. Is she not eating? She's putting the shisha in her mouth. I'm surprised she didn't get the shisha out on this live today. I'm absolutely surprised we did not see the shisha. Anyway, guys, I don't even care to finish out Chantel's video. So we're just going to finish it out because I'm sure she bored the pants off her audience after that. So, as we say in England, I don't need to hear Chantel whinging on anymore because I'm sure she will whinge on about something. So we're just going to kill her here. She wasn't directly raging. I didn't see a pinky out. But I have a feeling. Well, thank you for coming into the chat, Cheekbones. Thank you for saying it was a great stream. I am so having much fun. Oh, okay. See, I didn't even know Blonde Empress. You see? You see? I hope you hit the likes for me for that one. Because I was wondering, with you being so low, they may think you're a little too low. You might have to end up bringing a little bit more carb back into your diet in order for you to still be able to get enough energy go. Just as heads up. So just be, you know, potentially prepared. But I'm not going to be we're not diagnosing you here because that's not my role at this time. I'm only in training to be a nurse practitioner. But even if I were, since I'm not the person who ordered the tests, I still would not be able to say anything. I can only speculate, if that makes sense. Always, because I always want to be fair. Yes, thank you, Cheekbones. Thank you for coming on in. Yeah. There is a certain point where you get too low, though. So that's why I said there is a certain range. Because you can get a little too low on it. Thanks. I appreciate that. We appreciate the subscribe skis. And we still have more questions from the community to come. So we will get another. Hopefully, Cheekbones won't be in bed and she'll panel up with me. I'll give her a little bit more heads up. And we will get back over here. And we will hit, because I still have a whole another like 7 or 8 questions that came from the audience that are awesome questions. So we will intersperse those with Chantel's mukbang, and we will continue to explore the subject of type 2 diabetes. So yes, good luck with that. Don't be scared. I'm glad you're seeing a provider and that you're following up with these things. Just be open and honest. Let them know what's going on. Don't be, let them know. Just tell them everything. That's my best advice. And then write all your questions down ahead of time so that you know what you want to ask the doctor. Because otherwise, once you get in front of them, we often forget everything we want to ask. So I always say, write it down ahead of time. That's what I usually do when I'm waiting in the doctor's room to see them, is that even myself as a provider, I'll go in there because I always know there's that time before you see the doctor. And so I'll bring pen and paper with me and I'll actually sit and write all the questions that I have so that I can stay on track. And it's a good time because I'm sort of sitting there and it gives me a chance to sort of get that done. So that's what I would recommend, just so that you can make sure that you cover everything with them. That's just what I always say. So anyway, all right, everybody. Well, thank you. Thank you guys for joining me. I am so excited for everybody. I didn't expect to have such a fantastic live audience tonight. I was like, oh, it's Sunday night. We'll see. But I'm so excited and I'm so glad I did come live tonight. I'm sorry my voice is starting to go. Probably because I had a late night Friday night doing the late night live and stuff. But I am going to say take care. I'm going to come over here to my branding. I'm going to take and I have a little video and I'm going to say bye and have a great night.